and you both immediately see the sight of Benjamin close to Katia, who is sporting quite a grievous-looking wound on the shoulder.
It's fine.
Darren did this?
It was assumed it had been dealt with.
I think we can safely assume it's not been dealt with. I mean, it was all a setup. She must have been the girl, the one that he was talking to in the bathroom.
This is Will. She is my ghoul.
It seems to be that I saw it on the footage. I don't fucking understand it, but on the footage, it zoomed in, the bolt undid, and the door opened. On its own accord.
Yes, but
I think until we can decide what our course of action is going forward, we need to hold off.
The second episode of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in London, England. Now, I'll leap straight in and introduce the cast that's with me today, for those of you that are joining us for the first time.
Carlos, the very sexy Moses from Clan Nosferatu.
up for debate. Hi, I'm Peter. I'm playing Benjamin from Clan Malkavian.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm playing Katia from Clan Trainier.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm playing Jim Roy Woods of Clan Gangrel.
So, to recap what happened on the previous episode, leaping straight in. The coterie, having found itself in possession of a new domain shortly after being acknowledged by the Prince of London, Prince Emrys, has found themselves in a bit of a pickle with regards to a previous tenant of their domain, one Darren Fitcher, a troublesome, albeit mortal tenant who resided in their now chosen haven. After scouting out and meeting with various kindred of the city, such as the head of the Anarchs and members of the Primogen, the coterie, after explaining to a very confused Benjamin what had occurred during this period of time, found themselves subject to a young teenage kine trying to book a room within their haven. One Abigail Bennings, who, despite the fact that they'd locked up the territory after their resident manager of the domain was found bludgeoned and sent off to the hospital, requested a room that they were frankly uncertain whether or not they should give her, given that the domain had recently been torn up by a very angry and vengeful Darren. With this indecision, and at request of Abigail to escort her to her bike, which had been set up down the road, two members of the coterie, Katia and Benjamin, agreed to go off to escort her to her bike and back, only to discover that Abigail was, they believed, the daughter or associate of Darren, who, alongside three of his friends, jumped the two kindred when they arrived beside her bike. In this very brief, one-sided skirmish, Benjamin successfully managed to hide away and try to put in a quick call to Jim in order to gain some sort of muscle and experience, whilst Katia was subjected to the full onslaught of these four very angry mortals. As a result, she was severely wounded with a crowbar and almost with a knife, to the point where the four humans ran, believing that they had mortally injured this woman, and left both her and Benjamin alone. The coterie returned to the heart of their domain, the Crossed Hands, in order to discuss what had gone wrong. An angry Katia questioned the other members of the coterie as to how this young mortal teenager had been able to get into the domain which had been locked. And Moses was the one to supply an answer. During his surveillance of the domain, he had witnessed a odd occurrence in which the door had unlocked itself. He double-checked the footage, even managed to get Jim to double-check the footage, and he's come to the conclusion that the haven is haunted. Whether or not the others believe him or think that he's just being paranoid, who knows? Along this time, Will, who is the ghoul of Katia, also came to the domain to assist Katia in order to help her get moved in. And Katia confessed to Will a number of concerns that she was having. And it was also during this moment that it was revealed that Katia's sire Oliver, who she has a strained relationship with, has in repayment to her for showing him up in front of the prince, taken out his frustrations on her ghoul, who she cares deeply about. Her back, which has subsequently been flayed and burned, is a testament to Oliver's lasting resentment towards the recent actions of his child. How Katia deals with this, I suppose we'll see. And Benjamin, since returning to his sire in order to seek some stability in the hectic activities of the last few nights, discovered that his sire was more than happy with some of his recent works, and more curious to find out that his child had recently witnessed the reappearance of a shadowy figure who he long believed to have been left outside of London. The origins of this figure thus far unknown. He also confessed to his sire that Katia was involved in this skirmish with mortals, and went into some detail about the severity of her injuries. This exciting his sire, exciting Edmund. The Malkavian has now insisted that Benjamin provide a fresh painting, with the subject of his painting being the injured Katia in her state of suffering. Benjamin, happy for the approval of his sire, has thus agreed. Meanwhile, Moses has gone to work up in the surveillance of the territory, and in particular the Haven, in order to catch more evidence of this spectre, which no one else seems to believe exists. And Jim has continued, through his various contacts, his ongoing search for his sire. And during Benjamin's return to his haven, that is where we left off, and where we shall pick up now. So, Benjamin, after a quick drive back from Edmund's gallery, you come back to the domain with it locked up. You have a copy of the key, and you manage to unlock it and come back in to find, if you'd all like to, for the benefit of any people join us, just quickly go through descriptions for your characters. We won't do this every time, guys, but for the first few sessions we will, just in case we get any new joiners. Beginning with Benjamin, since you're leading into the scene.
Okay, so Benjamin is on the pale side, even for a vampire. He is about 5'10". He looks to be in his in his early 40s. He is he's white. He has it's quite smartly turned out. He's wearing a kind of a t-shirt with a Mandarin collar shirt over the top, kind of 90s style, and rolled up at the sleeves. And he generally looks quite smart and neat, apart from his hair, which is slightly curly and a little bit unruly and slightly out of control. And he generally looks bewildered / nervous.
Okay, so Moses, poor Moses, is very deformed. He looks, his skin is all tight around his arms and legs and the rest of his body. He looks like really lanky, like a husk, really, with a grayish pale, grayish paleness to his skin. His eyes are his most notable, distinguishable feature. They are massive. This yellowish, orangey, yellow, white eyes. They're really big, and he always has bag under his eyes. So he has this also raccoonish type of look. Very angular face, pointy chin with a mouthful of very sharp teeth. And he always looks hunched and always very insecure. Always wears a beanie, and sometimes wears a beanie with fox ears, but only on special occasions.
Alright, I imagine at this point Katia is descending the stairs. She's about 5'10". She's quite tall, slightly androgynous kind of figure. She's got short, very thick black hair. And she'd have quite rich tan skin, if not for the fact, obviously, she is kindred, so it's lost kind of most of its colour. At the moment, she's changed her clothes after being drenched in her own blood. She's wearing a big baggy jumper with a nice big 80s stripe across the front, with some jeans, and hands are in her pockets. She looks tired and she looks fed up. Her eyes are just shadowed, and there's like a slight bulge under the jumper on one of her shoulders where it seems that she's wrapped a compress or something just to stop the wound. Although it wouldn't bleed naturally, it might still ooze in a most pleasant fashion, so she's kind of bound it up a little bit.
Whereas Jim, who was on the roof, is now entering shortly after Benjamin, where he's early. He's entering the front door shortly after Benjamin. He's early 20s, quite youthful look, hoodie, jeans, and they look like they haven't been washed for a while at this point.
So you all begin descending back down into the heart of your haven. Behind Katya, you can follows Will, paler than she was before and somewhat shaky on her feet, but she's otherwise alert and following quite closely behind her. There's a not very well hidden expression of general concern on her face, but she's amicable in how she smiles to each of you, if a little reserved. Where are you all meeting? Are you meeting in the corridor or in the lobby? Anyone's particular rooms?
I'm hoping that we don't meet in the lobby. I invite them over the little living room I have downstairs in the basement.
Okay.
See if they want, and I lock the door. And when everybody goes down the stairs, I just put a chair and walk behind them.
Okay.
Chairs don't stop ghosts, Moses.
You're not helping.
I'm not feeling helpful.
Yeah, but you know what stops ghosts? Crosses. Half a bunch. So yeah, there's a rosary on the wall, hastily hung
Has
up.
the cross or the rosary ever bothered you?
Sorry?
Has the cross or the rosary ever bothered you?
Well, yeah, no.
Do you think it will bother a ghost?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that remains to be seen.
Aren't we getting a little premature with this ghost business? I mean, couldn't it just as easily have been a kindred who did this?
I suggest you watch his footage
You just put
first, because
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Fine.
I just put the video like in the biggest monitor that I can show it to them.
Okay. Well, since this is the first time you are within the
Oh yeah.
Oh, you've described
you've
space.
actually described your basement.
Oh, okay. The basement is not like super high tech or anything. The area is quite big, as pretty much everything is like a lot of space in the crossed hands. But this section looks like a little flat on its own. It has like couches, and it has like a TV, a little table. It's not a dining table; it's just a table. And there is a small workstation with a normal computer in there. There are like two doors, one for a small room with a big bed that Moses realizes that it's like all messed up, so he closes the door to avoid, any things that are improper. And the other one is just a closed door with like a slow hum of air conditioning and all that. The atmosphere and the mood. So yeah, on the computer, I just put it there. Big screen, a big monitor on it. It looks like a very recent, like a very new computer, like very powerful stuff. And I just show you the footage.
Before the footage rolls, can I activate Auspex 1, See the Unseen?
Of course you can. Is there a rouse check involved?
I don't think so, because it's a level 1.
No? Okay. Yeah, certainly. You activate the sense, and with some measure of subtlety, given your lingering pain from your wound, you glance around quickly. You spy your fellow coterie members, you spy Will hovering what some people might consider to be uncomfortably close to you, but she's there. But there's no one else around that you can note. You check the corners, you check towards the rooms.
In that case, I'll just watch the footage, and because I probably haven't really tried this before, and I'm interested to see whether See the Unseen would make me view footage any differently.
Okay. So you begin watching the footage, and based upon the camera angle, all you can see is one half of the lobby and the door. And based upon the point from where he continues the footage, where he starts it off, the door is shut and the deadbolt is across. And there's no movement. It fast forwards quickly going forwards, and then at one point Moses stops it. And then moves it forward slowly, manually, as you watch, zoomed in, the deadbolt just... and the door...
Oh my goodness.
See? Told you.
Well, no, I mean that's very shocking, but it doesn't mean it has to be a ghost. I mean,
Why not?
Well, could it be a magnet or I don't know, some
I
other
don't see
trick?
anyone there. I don't see anyone manipulating with a magnet.
But on the other side of the door, maybe.
I have a footage for the other
I
side
was
of the
going
door.
to say, I think we
Play.
both.
It's like 3 hours of that until Phil appears.
Right.
Until Katya appears.
But could it, I mean, but we've seen kindred like us disappear, like Plucky Jake. So could this have been Plucky Jake? I mean, it seems like the sort of thing he might do.
Isn't that the worst option? I mean, I don't know, but I would.
A couple of things. One, any vampire who could do that could have just easily come in through any of the broken windows of any of the other ones. So why go through the trouble of doing that? Second, they only breached the door. They didn't open it fully. They just unlatched it and breached it a little bit. So doing that makes no sense. Like, no one would fit there unless you can both be unseen and then turn into mist.
Is that something that we can do?
Why would someone like that use the door?
Well, that's the fair point, I suppose. If you can become mist, you don't really need to open
La
the door.
pelona. That's what it is.
You'd use the window like I do.
It's death, and it's coming from us. It's just coming from us.
Well, then, shouldn't we? I mean, you're all sounding very calm about that. If it is,
Yeah.
if this is one of your jokes, Moses, I think it's a bad time because we've had a terrible evening, a tough time, and I'm not in the mood.
joking.
Well, then what is it? Do you all know about what this sort of thing is? I've never seen
Is
anything
there
like
any,
this.
hypothetically, let's say this is some kind of ghost, is there anything you can do about it right now?
Pray.
No. No? I assume there's nothing you can do, Ben. I assume there's nothing you know or can do about it.
Come on, you can
Well,
follow me. It's
I
just,
know
I just
nothing
kneel.
about
Right,
ghosts.
excellent.
They
And
exist.
whilst
Dios te salve María,
whilst
llena
I
eres de gracia,
can
Señor es
learn
contigo,
about
bendita
whatever
tú
this is, there's
entre
nothing I
todas
can
las
do
mujeres,
either. So unless we're all about to up
Santa
sticks and
María,
move out of
Madre
this
de
place,
Dios,
I suggest we simply go about our night.
What?
So you're saying that there might actually be a ghost, but we should just ignore it.
I remember I had some stuff to do, so if you don't mind, I have to go out. I have a date.
No.
Is that so?
We need to know before anyone goes anywhere. We need to work out what we're doing about Darren, don't we? I mean, that is a.
I've
Didn't we
taken
agree
some
nothing?
time to think about this.
Yeah, we agreed on nothing. Let Katya recover.
I don't feel like nothing's the right option.
Shoot.
I want some.
I-
Date. Come on.
So if now isn't the right time to ignore a ghost, it is the right time to go on a date?
Well, actually, it's not a date. I just want to ignore the ghost by not being.
By
here.
leaving us.
Well,
That's not a very
I'm
good
not-
way
I'm-
to
I'm
start
not
a good
leaving
relationship with your
you.
coterie.
I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving the ghost behind.
You're leaving us.
No.
The first sign of danger, and everyone runs, it seems.
I'm really sorry about what happened. I really am. I don't know what I'm sorry. Look, if there's any way I can make it up to you. I mean I didn't. There were 4 of them, and they had. I didn't realise this sort of thing happens.
Yeah, it does.
So what are we going to do? Because we can't allow it to happen again.
No, we can't.
You're
We
not the only
could-
one who's been thinking I.
There are ways to frighten him without
Also,
endangering our presence.
you're
Here.
good with computers, aren't you, Moses? As I've seen. Do
Yeah,
you
okay.
reckon you could dig up information on Darren and all his associates and this Abigail, who I would assume is his daughter?
Yeah.
Because the more
It'll
information we
take-
have,
But I'll need a while because
Yeah.
I'll need to like get into probably encrypted databases from the. I assume Darren must have like a criminal record, so I'll start there.
Excellent. Then you can stay here and look that up.
No,
Make
actually, I
sure
need
no
to do
one
it at my
breaks in.
office because I have more powerful computers there.
Right.
Yeah, Jim wants to say that.
Insight.
Actually, yeah, you can. I am. Yeah.
So what's that? Which plus?
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, it'd be wits plus insight.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's one success.
I don't need to roll because I'm telling you the truth. I have an office with like a full room of servers.
I mean, you can tell he seems sincere, but there's also like a strong edge to what he's saying, which is making it clear he does not want to be in this building at the moment at all.
So it's a good excuse
so
that I have a powerful.
It doesn't really matter whether or not he was telling the truth or not. The base motive behind what he's saying is the same.
But I'll put a dossier on Darren.
As much as you can get as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because
Give me to the end of the night. I'll come back tomorrow and bring it
pissing
over.
me off.
I certainly don't think that we should go anywhere. I mean, as in, we should make sure maybe we go two of us together, or that we know where. I just think that they probably have run for now. But
Then they'll be split up.
But there will come a time when they realise that the police aren't after them, and then they'll come back. That's what I mean.
Well, we know
Oh
Darren.
no! I'll take care of that bit with the police.
You said that, and then we got attacked.
Yeah, I said that last night, and then you got attacked at the beginning of this night.
So yes,
I had not had the time. I'm
all right,
making it work.
But you're going to do it now.
Yes, actually.
All right, fine,
yeah.
fine.
But I need to call
Fine.
them from my office. I don't want them to trace the call back here.
So you're going to your office.
Mhm.
The three of us might be leaving to potentially work on Darren a little more. But are we leaving no one here?
I would-
You could go
I'm
to
no-
my flat. I mean, I've
I'm-
vacated it mostly.
Are you sure you should be going anywhere in your current state? I mean, forgive me for saying so, but shouldn't you recover a little first?
That's going to take time.
I'm pretty sure Jim's. I'm pretty sure Jim's recovered from kinds of wounds before.
The kind of wound that Katia suffered.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most severe that you've witnessed. I mean, your sire's Alicia. But it's still severe.
Look, I found it. No one's going to see. It's covered. I can leave this place.
I was
On the subject of, actually, do me a favour, roll. We'll say wits plus medicine.
one success.
Okay. I mean, she's kindred, so it's kind of difficult to deduce. I mean, what looks extremely severe to anyone or anyone's knowledge, most kindred could probably shove off. I mean, you've seen during your brief time with your sire her take wounds which in theory should have killed someone outright. I mean, when you first encountered her, she was practically falling apart in pieces, but she persevered. So I mean, certainly Katia is not your sire, but she is still kindred, so
Or am I?
Damn Tremere. So, yeah, with those wounds, you'll heal, but there is one problem. There are kine out there, and the first tradition. I don't think they'll see if that comes apparent.
That's why you can't see it right now. It's bound. It's not going to bleed.
Quite obviously padded.
But I mean,
I'll put
that's.
another coat on. It's fine.
I mean,
have.
we are in
layers.
London. There are a lot more strange things than that walking
I'll
around.
pad the other one. It'll simply be slightly retro style.
Yes,
It's
it'll just
fine.
be retro. That's all.
You can use.
Again, the offer still stands. My flat, my old flat, I have taken most of the stuff out to storage, and you can be there and spend the night. It's blacked out.
So I completely ignore Moses and turn back to Jim. And aesthetics aside, that's why we go as a group this time.
Go as a group to do what exactly?
Well, Darren's already proven himself to be cunning. He was cunning enough to lure you two out into a trap. So he might be banking on us. running from here and then coming back and securing the place. Of course, I can batter it down, but still, that would.
But no. I look. Darren's probably gone to ground, and his friends have probably gone and hidden somewhere because they think they've just murdered someone, and they think probably the police are about to come after them. But let's say we find where they are, then what? What are you actually suggesting we do? That's the bit that I'm nervous about the bit where we actually get to them, and I don't know what you want to do to them at this point.
Jim lowers his fangs. Well, one option is clear.
I mean, did someone say dinner time?
There are plenty of ways to terrify him without jeopardizing our position.
But that is why.
Not killing him.
Yeah, that is why I'd rather the information first before we do anything.
So what are we going to do? If Moses needs to find out this information on him, what will we achieve? That's my point. What are we going to do?
We'll stop him coming back.
How?
Well, I think the first option is to try and secure these broken windows. I think here, and try and fortify here. Let you get a night's rest because that'll heal. You just need a night. That's what we need. If you say you can get a decent amount of information a night, you wait tonight.
Yeah, I'll just
wait
leave.
One night, maybe two.
No, I'll use the rest of
Then
the night.
we'll deal with it.
Yeah. Let's see what information says. Just let me sort that out. I get on my biking gear. Like full biking, so I don't have to have gear or whatever, and I just go in my very cool, stylish motorcycle and leave.
Okay.
It's the only posh
Heading
thing
towards your alternative here.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Moses goes up, removes the chair from the door, places it down.
While he's starting to do that, I'll say, there is one more thing that I feel is only fair to let you know, seeing as we're discussing all of the terrible things that have been going on. When I went out earlier, I noticed that there was someone watching me go, and I don't know who it is exactly, but I do know that I've seen them before, and that they have been a problem in the past. I think so, yes, because I've never been able to see them properly. I just sometimes catch glimpses of them. They're very hard to see. But they're there. They were watching me go. They didn't do anything. They've never done anything yet. But I should let you know. So be on your guard if you see someone, but maybe you only catch a glimpse of them. But I don't think they'll be here for you. I think they're here for me. So you don't need to worry for yourselves. But obviously, I'd quite like you to worry for me if you see us out there.
Any reason in particular they would be targeting you?
I have theories and assumptions, but I don't know. We've never really talked. They follow me around. I mean, across the country around.
Oh.
It's been going on for a while.
So from when you were a human?
Yes.
Has your sire never illuminated you anything?
Well, my sire is aware. That's why we're here. Well, one of the reasons he brought me here for my safety, you see, to protect me. But and I told him. Obviously, I went and told him last night, and I'm sure he's very thoughtful about these things. I'm sure he'll come up with a plan.
What else did you tell him?
You
didn't mention the annex, did you?
Oh no! Should I have done?
No.
It slipped my mind in all of the excitement.
No.
Because
No.
Why? But surely it's important that he know. No.
From this point forward, unless it's completely imperative, you do not talk to your sire about every little thing we do.
But I mean, we have a very close working relationship.
You have a close relationship with him.
Yes.
And you have a close-ish relationship with us.
Yes.
We have no relationship with him. Don't bring us into the mix.
I think he'd be more than happy to fuck all of us over.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Quick question:
Yes.
the guy that you see in this, is he always does he look like have a trench coat or something that obscures him?
It's certainly a jacket, I think, of some kind, but it's difficult. It's very strange because
long hair.
No, but that's no. But you see, that's the problem. That's the problem. I can't remember. I can remember that I've seen him, but it's like his face just slides off, like it just. I can't quite put it into words properly, but sometimes I don't even see him long. I'm sure it's a man, and I'm sure that I know that it's the same man. I can tell that, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what colour his hair is, or even what country he comes from.
If we're in the
or-
same place and you see him again, tell me.
I have a
Yes, of
Nosferatu
course.
friend that is like that.
Well, I at the risk of making myself very nervous, aren't you a little bit like that? I saw you did that. You changed yourself, and suddenly you were like someone. But it wasn't quite like that. It's different.
No, I'm talking about the thing you're saying. I have
Yes.
a friend Nosferatu that he does something.
Do you think
similar.
he's the one that's following me?
I mean, he likes to play tricks on people.
I-
I'm joking. I don't know any other Nosferatus with that power. Don't worry. What's that? Are you feeling better now? Come on, laugh.
I'm not feeling better. This is not joking matter, Moses. Thought
I
you'd
never
have said
get.
that.
I never get it. I don't know when it's a joking matter and when it isn't.
Well, maybe as a hint moving forward, if you're not sure, don't make the joke. That would be my advice for you. It's not funny at all.
I'm gonna turn away from these two and I'm gonna start tromping up the stairs.
Yeah, I just finished getting on the motorcycle. I told him, like, whenever you see this person again,
Yes.
first thing to do,
Tell Katia.
if you are seeing him in the domain, I'm telling you, anywhere in the domain,
Yes.
first thing to do
Yes.
is note your location. Your exact location.
Oh, well, I can tell you because I saw him when I was getting into my car. So I can tell you where he was.
Okay, just point it out, and when I'm doing the
Yes, well,
They
I
check
can.
on
do, you
Darren
want,
now.
do you want me to tell you now? I can,
yeah,
do you
yeah,
want-
yeah. Come
So
on.
I'll tell him where I was parked and that he was behind the car. Take a
Okay.
rough guess.
I take notes of where that was, and when I go back home and I have everything on the servers, I just run that tape to see if there was anything or anyone there, and if not,
It's the ghost.
death, la muerte, she's out to get
Once
you.
it's all out to you and you have a look, you're checking the CCTV?
Yeah, but once I get to my new haven,
Okay.
my own haven, because I have the servers there, and I can just drag the footage and watch it there.
Well, he doesn't park that far away, so it's easy enough for you to kind of locate where it is in relation to your haven. So you're going off to your place. You are going,
I'm probably going because there's only Jim and I left down here, isn't it?
and Will.
And Will.
Oh, I would probably have motioned for Will to follow me.
Yeah, she hasn't moved yet.
I would probably have got up from it. Hold on. Will?
She's gone very pale.
Oh,
Okay,
well, I'll go
Back
to.
downstairs.
Do we notice that Will is looking a bit?
Yeah, it's not so much that she's not voluntarily going. She seems very, very kind of spaced. And the position that she's holding herself in is one that's very slack.
I'm instantly just
I'm gonna-
like, Will?
I'm gonna kind of slowly guide her into a chair over the back. Just
The moment you pick her up, she...
Oh, you should be careful. No, be careful.
put her in a chair and do we notice whereabouts she was? She winced as soon as I.
The moment you put your hand on her back, she recoiled.
What's up with
Don't
her?
touch her.
What's up with her back?
Nothing you need to be concerned about.
I'll be alright, I just need...
Will, what happened? You spaced out on me.
There's a long moment of silence that follows that's almost as though she's trying to weigh her words, but she's also struggling to speak. You've not seen her this badly battered for a while. You get the feeling that the feeding, combined with the general assault that her body has taken for however long it's been, is impacting her severely.
I told you should have laid down. I told you to wait. Look, I'm going to take you back upstairs and you are going to lay down this time and you're going to rest. Because I can't have you keeling over on me now, okay? I need you to be alright. I'm going to take you back upstairs.
She kind of reaches up and kind of lifts herself and begins following you carefully up the stairs. There's an eagerness to her steps where she's obviously distressed at annoying you or frustrating you. but it's clear she's swaying. But she follows you and goes back upstairs. You're going upstairs to your room with Will?
Back up to the attic.
You're heading off towards your other haven. Where were you going?
Well, I'm briefly going to turn to Jim, and I'll say, I think something's wrong with Will. And I think something was wrong when she arrived.
Maybe, but
Well, no,
I'm unsure when it is. She's clearly hurting a lot. Something's happened to her back.
I wonder if there's something we can do. I mean,
I don't know really much about Gore. That seems to be a question to Katia, but...
Well, I guess I could go and ask her. She seems... I'm sure she'll want to help her friend. Is this the point where I should give you the knife back, or should I still hold on to it? I was a little unclear.
Keep the knife. You might need it.
All right.
If Darren comes here, you're going to need that knife.
No, I was going to call you, wasn't I? That was what was going to happen.
Yeah, but then again, I may not get there in time, so you might still need that damn knife.
Right, alright, fine. So now we're all just resting, are we? And we'll deal with Darren tomorrow? Is that the plan?
I think the plan here is to try and fix some of these windows.
Oh yes,
Damage.
so are we going to do that?
Yes, I would assume so. And
Right.
I think give her a little bit of time, calm down, then ask her.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll give her a little time, she'll calm down, and then I'll ask her. Excellent. Good plan.
First thing first, though, let's start fixing these damn windows.
Alright, yes,
Okay.
I'm with you, Jim.
What are you doing to fix up your windows?
Just got those spare windows lying around.
Well, if there's any... because obviously we don't know much about fixing windows, but we could board them up, potentially.
Yeah, you can board them up.
I'm assuming there's all kinds of furniture which have seen better days that
Darren
could be...
did smash a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Which could be used to... So I guess...
That's cool. I'm just wondering whether or not there was a plan in place or if you are boarding. Obviously, both of them do reach the same ends, but they both have a different visual aspect.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, probably we'll need to do a longer term solution, but for now...
Okay.
Boarding them up.
And unless Jim suddenly shows us his past as a glazier or something.
Mysteriously in another life. No, between the two of you go back upstairs, and the floors that Darren managed to get to before he clubbed Mrs. Morovsky, there's enough debris around that you can jury-rig something roughly to attend to the windows that were damaged. It does not look pretty. It does not look appealing, and gives the place a more run-down look than it even had. But the combined effect of managing to cover up the windows and clearing the debris away from where it's fallen, it's weird in that outwardly the place looks more run down, but inwardly it looks a slight bit more tidier, as long as you just don't look at the windows. If you look at everything else, it looks okay.
Actually, this is an improvement.
Yeah, just don't turn around.
Someone call Kevin McLeod.
But you can hear, as you lead Will upstairs, it's slow progression, but she follows you dutifully and does her best not to need you. You can hear that coming from downstairs as these two go at it with what hammers and nails they managed to find. Mrs. Morovsky, despite the fact that she hasn't used any of this for a while, does have a full toolkit behind the counter, and furthermore in her room, which was unlocked when she was bludgeoned. She seems a very capable woman, even if she is limited somewhat now in that capability. But you managed to use these tools enough to get it these windows done up, and you can hear them going at it from downstairs. Will, she follows you to the bed, and when you lay her down, she goes as gingerly as she can. Even lying her on her side, the extensiveness of the burns is not necessarily restricted to the back, but slightly wraps around the side. So there isn't really a comfortable position for her to get into.
So I'm gonna just look at her for a minute, and am I correct in thinking that in V5, Kindred Vitae, if when given to mortals, does allow them to heal somewhat?
Based upon what I've read from
Is that
V5?
not the way it was?
No. Once you give the Vitae to them, they gain the powers of ghoul, and ghouls simply heal at twice the rate of a mortal.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of healing, for example, an amount of superficial damage per session, equal to their stamina, they'd heal twice as much.
So they don't gain the mend wounds abilities that
not
that a
based
vampire
upon
would
what
get.
I've been able to read. I was just double checking. I was just double checking as well how quickly mortals heal aggravated. Which I finally found the page.
Huh.
Yeah, and it does
Having the
happen
book
sometimes.
helps a lot. Come on.
Looks like Uncle Titus is going to read us a story.
Yeah.
Sit down, children.
Let
Let
me tell you a tale of
Here we go
woes.
again.
So Will can heal, and then Katya can be
Okay, so
before she friends.
based upon a very quick read, because I don't want to kind of go through this really thoroughly and waste more time, it seems as though you can convert aggravated damage to superficial, and then it's healed that way.
Right.
Without going more thoroughly into it,
Is that
which I
with
will over time.
was that with giving the tie to?
No, that's normal,
Oh,
I
that's just
believe, but
normal.
over a set
Right.
amount of time. I believe
Okay.
aggravated damage does require some sort of medical care, and the
Okay.
medical care will convert it into superficial. So she probably will need some, because it's also a thing that ghouls do not heal fire damage
Yeah.
twice as quickly.
Yeah.
Something which Oliver is well aware of.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's just as bad for them
Yeah.
as it is for Kindred.
Okay.
So you are looking at a long, slow process.
Yeah. So I'm going to make sure she is laying down on her front or the most comfortable kind of way she can be. I'm going to make sure there's no kind of friction, there's no kind of fabric that's going to be aggravating these wounds any more than it already is. I mean, I have a little bit of medical stuff, like or just like equipment in the stuff that I brought over from the Chantry, but I have to be honest with her and I say, look, well, I can't do much right now. There's nothing I can really do to heal this
I'm fine.
for you right now.
Well, I'm not fine, but I will be.
You're
I'll
not
be
fine.
okay. I mean, I'm not with him anymore, so it's.
No.
I just need time. You
Okay,
just
so-
focus on you and please don't do anything you wish.
That remains to be seen. Just don't do anything else for me today. Just rest, please. I'll see if there's anything I can bring back. I'll get you some food. When was the last time you ate?
Not. Yeah. Well, yesterday, I suppose.
I'm getting you some food. Yeah. Will, you need to look after yourself. You can't
She
help
kind
me
of
if you can't
glances
look
at
after
your
yourself.
shoulder, but doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Who's talking?
She doesn't say anything though.
Half of a shoulder, neck, massive.
She just nods. I mean, there's the seems like she's on the verge of smiling, but cuts herself off. But she.
It's probably a good thing that Akatia's not really paying that much attention. Yeah, you're staying here. That's just the way it is. You're not going to leave this room. You're going to rest. I'm going to bring you food back at some point this evening, and then before I rest, I want you to find one of the rooms. I want you to take a room downstairs. I'm sorry, but you can't sleep up here tonight. Well, today.
Do you want me to go down there
No,
now?
no. You stay here now. I know you're safe here. Well, safer. If you need anything, if I'm here, just let me know, okay? I've got my phone on me.
Okay.
And promise me you will tell me if you need something. You're not going to be stoic and bear this all for me. That's not what I want, and I will be angry if you do. I want you to tell me when you need something.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will.
Thank you. And again, I'm so sorry. I'll be back. I'll be back later.
She nods, doesn't say anything, but she watches you as you go. And as you close the door with no lights on, she's just cast slowly into shadow until you can't see her. And the door clicks shut behind you. You can still hear from downstairs as those two continue working. Otherwise, the building seems particularly quiet. And then, as you two finish, The place falls quiet. You can hear Katia upstairs moving about softly. It's nowhere near as loud as the echoing thuds of a hammer, but it's life within a building which hasn't seen life for a while, beyond Mrs. Morovsky and
Ironically.
whatever. Yeah, ironically. And what are you two doing now before I jump back to you?
Can I just point out, by the way, that my window boarding is a bit more aesthetic?
Yeah, it's like one half of it is level and perfectly toned, and the other one's just like kind of...
I would imagine that he would have insisted we hold it low as Jim just swings the fucking hammer.
Yeah, I want it
You were holding it, and he was
It
going
looks
at it.
amazing, but it's not
Yeah.
Do
like
it with potence and just put your hand
100% there.
Don't have buttons.
And he basically barricaded it in the ugliest way possible.
Well, I suppose probably Katia's calmed down by now, so I should go and have a talk to her.
Yeah. I do know some basic first aid, so let me know.
Oh, that's
Could have a
useful.
look.
Yes, I picked up a few little bits and bobs, but I'm not really
it's
an expert. But I'll.
We all need a clean ice, so we're marking that.
So I should offer your help as someone who knows first aid to Will.
Yeah.
Absolutely no problems. You sure you don't want to?
You've seen how blunt I can be. I think it'd probably be best coming from you. I'm going to go check the door down there, see if our ghost.
Yes, I think keeping an eye on intruders is an excellent plan. I'll go and speak to Katia.
If that door's open though, I might barricade that damn thing shut as well.
Good idea.
And I head downstairs.
Okay. And you're heading back up to find Katia.
Yeah, he's calmed
I'm
down now.
stomping down the stairs slowly.
You managed to locate him more through the stomps than anything else. This building's still odd to you. You've not been there for long. I mean, much longer than about a night at this point, given how long it's taking you to move in. You find her halfway up the stairs. She comes down.
Oh, hello. How's Will doing?
She'll recover.
We obviously, we don't want to intrude in your business, but we couldn't help but notice that she seems to have suffered some kind of.
She's injured, yes.
Yes, and Jim was saying he's had some first aid training, and I've picked up a few bits and bobs. I'm no expert, but my sister is, and well, if there's anything that we can do, then maybe if we could. Well, if you want, or if Will would like, we could maybe have a look, or try and find the right sort of medical supplies. I don't know, depending on what's wrong, whether she needs painkillers or antibiotics or something of that nature.
Painkillers will probably help, but it's not the sort of damage you can easily patch up. She's going to have to take time to heal it.
Well, obviously, but depending on the nature of the injury, depends on the kind of thing we might use to speed up the recovery.
Could
that's
you
all.
heal this?
What, that injury?
Yes.
Well, no, because I can't heal anything, but I mean, we could bind it so that it doesn't flap around so much if you want.
I've already done that. Irrelevant. Anything that could be done.
Well,
not much.
to answer your question, could I have a look? I mean, if you said could I heal it, do you mean? It
was a bit of a rhetorical question.
Oh, right. But Will hasn't been attacked with a crowbar.
No,
that wasn't
she
Darren,
hasn't.
was it?
If anything, it's more difficult, and I don't think it's something that either of you can simply mend.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that we might be able to get the relevant things to help mend it if we knew what the injury was. That's all. Because I'm assuming you don't want Will to go to a hospital.
No, they would tell they would tell very soon something was wrong.
Right. So in that case, what we really want to do is bring whatever the doctors would prescribe here instead, don't we? That's all. It's up to you, obviously, and Will. But if she wants help, certainly Jim would be willing to offer his services, and I'd be very happy to do anything I could. That's all.
If we can get the necessary treatment for burns, then I can apply it.
Oh dear.
I don't particularly want anyone else touching her.
Oh no, of course, understood. Of course. And dare I ask, how are you? Have you managed to? Has any of that got better?
Not yet. It'll take some time.
I'm assuming she still looks like even the other injuries apart from this gaping one is still there. She's still bruised, and
Yeah.
I will kind of. I'm so sorry, and sort of look, taking quite careful note of how she looks.
To be honest,
so
the only injury that looks mildly better is the jaw, and that's just purely because she kind of needed to reset it so she could speak and tell you off. But I mean, you can't really you can't see her side, but there's maybe a slight bunching of the top from where she might have fractured a rib or broken a rib, perhaps.
Did they break your bones?
They might have done.
But surely you know.
Well, at the time, I was somewhat distracted, and even now, the general right-hand side of my body is somewhat of a myriad of pain right now, so it's hard to pick out any one specific area.
Of course, it's just, bones being broken, that's all. But no, you're quite, it's awful. I'm so sorry. It looks monsters.
And I push past, and I actually slightly smack him as I go past.
Yeah, well, I'll flinch away.
It's you've not seen this side of Katia yet. You haven't known her that long. Maybe this is just normal Katia. Maybe the pleasantries have gone. But I mean, the way she's moving, despite the fact that she's heavily injured, it's admirable. You've certainly never seen.
Are there any more windows to board up?
Not on the lower floors. When she's walking, is there anything that suggests to me that some of the bones are not? Is there something odd about the way her body is? Just for accuracy's sake.
I mean, she is. Despite the fact that she's not really showing any degree of pain physically, she looks and moves like someone that's not necessarily. She's not as hunched and as heavily debilitated as someone that's suffering these injuries.
Oh, sure.
But the way that she's kind of favouring one side suggests that she is quite clearly broken several of her ribs.
Right, so there is a mechanical difference in the way she moves.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Are you actually scared?
No, well, not when she's inside. No,
Okay.
but when I go back to my rooms, I will be.
Jim, you can hear the...
That's why you were thinking like all the vinyl notes, because I got it at the beginning, but not at the end. Sorry.
I mean, further up the corridor, you can hear Benjamin's soft tones followed by Katia's sharp responses, and then you can hear the of Katia coming down the hall. You hear her before you see her.
Are we on your floor or Benjamin's floor?
I was heading down to the lobby.
Yeah.
Are there any tools left in this room? Like, what did you leave the hammers and stuff?
Did you guys leave the hammers and stuff?
Well, I would have put all of my tools back in the box exactly as they were originally, and then. But I mean, I don't know if Jim would have done, and then I will probably have wanted to put the toolbox back in its place for Mrs. Morosky because everything
I
should go.
I want to turn to Jim and say, Jim, I noticed another window needs fixing. Can I have the hammer?
Yeah, you're broken. Leave me to it. I'll do it.
Jim, please. I need to do this.
You need to hit something?
Yes. Please give me the hammer. In fact, you're not even holding the hammer. I'm just going to take the hammer.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stomp downstairs to Benjamin's floor. Stomp into Benjamin's rooms. Yeah, this window's broken.
Okay. You move into Benjamin's room. Still coated with boxes and various other transportation devices that's brought all those bits and pieces there. Everything kind of signposted, I'm assuming, to dictate what's in all the various boxes.
Yeah, no, we label boxes.
Catalogues.
And,
and the windows there. And
I'm assuming I'm in my room at this point.
Okay,
so I was going back to my room to start
sure.
making notes.
You watch as Katia comes in with a ballpen hammer, and she goes straight past you to the window
say,
and just full on. You hear the as the window just shatters. From such a singular hit, she did a marvelous job of shattering it, even more than Darren did. It's quite commendable.
This one needs fixing as well.
All right, let's get you back. Just get you back upstairs. You need to cool off. Come on. I'm gonna try.
On the plus side, the room's a bit more breezy now.
In the middle of winter.
And your boxes are now filled with shattered glass.
Well,
as I'm just gonna escort her out.
Okay.
It is on.
I suppose what I'm going to have to do is repair my window But before I do any of that, I'm going to shut my door and I'm going to lock it and I'm going to put a chair up.
Okay. Okay,
Just in
you do
case,
these
yeah.
steps as they kind of depart out of the room, Jim with Katia in tow, and you begin sealing up the window. You kind of have to watch your underfoot, even though...
Oh, if need be, I'll go downstairs and get sort of being very careful. Not to get the dustpan and brush, whatever, but clear it up. That'll be my thing for the rest of the night.
Okay, it won't take to the rest of the night. I mean, it was a singular hit, so the shards are quite large, but there's numerous ones of them. But you managed to scoop them up, even the ones you think out of all your boxes. It's one of those annoying things where you're certain you've missed some, but you can't see them without taking everything out. But you managed to get them all into the dustpan. You can hear the from inside his room as he starts trying to reset it, as you two are stood out in the hallway.
Alright, I bet that was funny.
I'm pleased you were entertained.
You need a rest.
No, I don't want to stay in here.
And I'm going to start slowly guiding her back upstairs, going, do you need this? Lay down.
I don't want to lie down.
What would you rather do?
I want to go see Darren.
Me too. I was thinking, there's a few things I would love to do to him. Were he ghoul or kindred, I would probably be after him now, but I'd go down myself and I have an idea where it'll benefit both parties. I have an idea, but I need more information first.
As much as I hate to admit it, for anything we did wish to do with Darren, I think Ben would be an asset. He will have capabilities that neither of us have.
And you are more persuasive than I am, and
You think I'm persuasive like this?
you need a rest. Get more information. And if he starts something, I will beat the living shit out of it, and I will thoroughly enjoy it. It's frankly, it's not even a play night. We all have to play nice here.
Fine. I need to think about something else. I need to think about something else. I did have a favour to ask you regarding the end of tonight and tomorrow night. In fact, when I wake up tomorrow night, I'm going to need to try and heal this.
I know.
Yeah, and I suppose that you know how much of a resource that can use up, and I also assume you know the consequences should that take more than one has.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to need you and possibly the others to assist, and I'm going to need you to keep Will away from me.
I'll do that on one condition.
You'll
You'll level with me about Will's condition, what's happened to her.
Will suffered burns on her back.
By who?
It's clan business. I couldn't tell you if I wanted to.
May I have at least a look? If there's anything I can do? I know a little first aid.
What can you do to treat burns on a ghoul, bearing in mind that they are as severe to a ghoul as they would be to kindred?
I won't know anything until I try, will I?
Well, before you even see her, we would want to have the necessary equipment. So I don't know whether there are any pharmacies or any of that sort of establishment open at this time of night.
I would doubt it.
And I'm no thief myself. I think that's more, well, typically that's more the department of Moses' clan, but I'm not drawing any assumptions here.
Elsewhere, on your way to your haven, you feel your ears.
Left ear, someone is bad-mouthing me.
Not just you, the clan.
Oh my god, it's like I lost balance.
Sorry.
But for now, what she needs is she needs something to eat and she needs to rest. I've managed to convince her of that much, so one way or another, I will be getting some form of sustenance for her before I retire for the evening.
Maybe a takeaway. Not
Yeah.
no sustenance for a human.
There's got to be
variety.
some 24-hour grocery store around here somewhere.
It's London.
Yeah.
I'm so like internally panicking. Shit, when's the last time I made someone food?
A while ago.
Order some takeout or something like that, and
Yeah, there's a couple of places you can order food from.
I
Like every like.
there's a map of
Fine, I
Romania.
I need to keep myself busy. I need just to do something. I'm gonna go out and get something to eat.
You can get
Right.
some food from the Silk Road if you like Chinese.
Well, I'd rather you and Benjamin stay where I can keep an eye on you at the moment.
We need someone to stay and watch the house. We don't know what else could fly open at any moment. I don't want to leave Will here alone.
Whilst you guys are having this discussion, Moses, you make your way out to your bike, and covered up as you are with your helmet and your biking leathers, it's refreshing to be out without having to be disguised. Although, even covered as you are, it's not perfect. There's glimpses of flesh underneath, and there's a way about your posture which draws the occasional glance. But on your bike, you're free of that. You're just whizzing down the not empty, but not as hectic as they are in the day, streets of London, moving towards your haven. It's a familiar route, particularly to you. And before you long, you manage to get back, set up your computer, sit at it, turn it on. And the first thing you do is you go and look in the location dictated to you by Benjamin. And you sit and you look and you go over it, back and forth, methodically piecing through it. And finally you see movement going towards Benjamin's car. Benjamin coming up and stopping. And he glances around, stops. And then he looks as though he's looking towards the wind mirror or just beyond it. Stops. And then grabs the car door, wrenches it open, leaps inside, fumbles with the keys, and darts. And you can just see, just out of the corner, him look towards the mirror and his expression darken as he just vanishes. What he's looking at, you can't see. It's based upon the way he's looking, probably off camera.
Clever. He knows where the cameras are. So I'll talk to Benjamin about that later.
Okay. What else do you do?
Basic stuff. I sort of continue a little bit my chat with Sexy Pearl 68.
Okay.
Had attend some business with the flatmates. And I tell her that my what I'm looking for. I'll have to resume that some other night. So I was looking for our neighbor, so I'll just leave it there. So in order to do many things with few actions, I want to look for basic information from Darren. Like we do have his name and surname and ID stuff from the time he was a tenant. I want to look. Like I want to run a couple of searches. Normal information. When I say normal information, is when you write the name and you see the Facebook profile or whatever. Well, it would be mine. Does Darren have MySpace?
I'll tell you what. We'll say resolve plus technology.
Resolve? I'm not. This is just the basic one. I'm not doing the in-depth one.
No, he
because
does
I
not.
just want like the
No, he does not.
basic stuff. Even things that could appear on tabloids, like Darren 32.
To be honest,
Here's his girlfriend because she got her the wrong jersey,
I mean, to
whatever.
be honest, people that have MySpace, there are a lot of Darren Fitchers.
Okay, cool.
You cannot see him.
Okay.
But then again, your exposure to Darren Fitcher has been somewhat limited. Based upon the CCTV footage is all you can go at, and none of them are clear shots. There's one or two people that you look at and you think, actually, that could be it, but it's very difficult for you to tell. Certainly none of the ones that you look at. There are numerous men and women pictured with them throughout the MySpace pages, but none that you recognise
I
as
just set it
Abigail.
aside. I look for normal stuff that could have been on the to see if there is something that he has been involved with, like normal local news.
Okay, I will need a check for these.
Yes.
Resolve plus technology.
Ooh. Oh, but I'm in my caving. That is 4, 5, 6 successes.
Okay.
Critical success.
Yes.
And a critical success.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a critical success. 1 success, a normal success on the hunger die, and a no success, and then an extra 4. Well, 2 zeros and a 9. So that's 5 plus a 6. So
It's frightening how quickly you managed to sum up this. I mean, as in, there is a string of pages relating to different individuals, not just in the immediate vicinity, but just across London and the neighbouring areas. And through a series of clicks, you managed to pull up one. And it's in the picture that's depicted in this old newspaper that's online for you to peruse. It's him, and you can tell it's him, even at an angle of the picture. An individual who was essentially taken by the police for the dealing of cocaine, but through deals was let off. He has a very negative opinion based on that, but he's also known to be quite a dangerous individual. There are no other stories since then of him having done anything, and this is dated about 1.5 years ago. The only other mention is that he does have a daughter, Maisie.
copy, paste, put it aside. I'll looking for Macy later, but in an odd way. So let's keep going with that.
Based upon the information about him, he is an individual which is known to have socialized with rather rough individuals. Most people that are known troublemakers or criminals within the east of London. His involvement with them, the full extent of it, is not fully known, and based upon the deal that he made, a full investigation was not perhaps as followed through as thoroughly as it should have been. But there was numerous people which were arrested as a result of the testimony that he gave and the evidence that he supported.
Yeah. He just snitched on everybody.
But there are no, based upon the information that you've looked at and from his full name and his likeness, you managed to find not necessarily a MySpace but a Bebo page.
Okay.
That you managed to find. Hey.
I'm just messing with you.
Bebo. It will come back one day.
Quick, fast forward to 2018.
No. But you do manage to find pictures of him with Maisie, who is Abigail, based upon the pictures that you see.
Yeah.
The pictures show
How old is Macy?
Based upon the information, 17.
17, okay.
Yeah.
She lied to you.
Oh, the worst thing they did.
I was not gonna let her in, and then you guys showed up.
Yeah.
I asked for ID, didn't get one, was gonna throw it out.
Based upon the information that's there, there are no pictures of any other women there. It's just him and Maisie. And the older pictures certainly depict them being as quite close. There's numerous friends on there. There's quite a few friends on there that
Known associates.
Yeah,
And
the ones
that I have pictures that there I can find pictures.
Okay, you look through the most recent messages going back and forth, and you click on a few, and it doesn't take you long before you find pictures of 3 individuals that you recognise based on the footage. Well, 2 individuals that you recognise based upon the footage.
I also saw them in the McDonald's, and we followed them home.
True. Yes. So you recognise all 3 of the individuals that were there. One, based upon his age, it appears to be the youngest of the 3, a 29-year-old called Will Sparring.
Cool.
The second one, another male, Danny Myers, 32.
Okay.
And the final one is Stephen Graham, 36. You recognise all 3 of these individuals based upon your brief encounter with them during the McDonald's.
Stephen Graham.
Graham.
Graham. Graham. Graham. A.M.
Yeah.
Spelling
E.M.,
bee with
yeah.
Moses.
But yeah, you've managed to see
29, 32,
29, 32, and 36.
36. Thank you very much. Oh, this is the well they were meaning. It's like, see you at Will's house. It was Will Sparring's house. Not
You say aloud to yourself.
yeah. Well, I say to Foggy, hey, ¿cómo
Yes.
está, perrita?
Would you like to describe Foggy for the individuals
Okay, yeah.
that...
Foggy is a pet that Moses has. His favorite pet in the world is an English red fox. Actually, it's also his ghoul. It's known as a famulus from his knowledge of animalism. Foggy was, when Moses was learning how to do that, he was looking for animals to practice on, and he found this as a puppy. It's a very adorable, very, very, like right now he has his winter coat, like bright orange, like very adorable pet. He behaves pretty much like a really happy dog when Moses is around, and then he just cuddles like or just rubs against Moses like a cat. And the moment Moses is not there, it's just another wild wolf, fox. Watch out.
He thinks he's a wolf.
He totally isn't. But okay, so I have something to remember him by. Always there. So
Now.
his name is Foggy because he's a fox who acts like a doggy. Foggy.
The face palm says it all.
You will regret those fail spawns later.
As you're kind of looking through this information, copy pasting, making notes in your Moses multitasking way, you can feel the dampness on your hand as Foggy comes up and starts vying for attention. Given how quickly you've managed to find these notes out, although somewhat limited in what you can find without going into further information such as police files and the rest, you have more than enough time to pay Foggy attention, which it full on takes use of, demanding it in that Foggy type way.
Yeah.
Dog,
See,
fox.
Yeah.
What else do you want to do?
While I play a little, at least like pet Foggy, I am doing it to get my head around some things. So what I'm gonna do is the most outstanding article that shows him basic internet research, like copying and pasting the information on the pages or screenshotting it, and I am putting up together like a Word document or something similar, and I just bring myself to the desk of the barrister solicitor Alan Burr.
Okay.
I am contacting you because I would like to hire your services. I am aware that you are a person that protects people, that defends people with protected characteristics. There is a situation that has occurred with an elderly lady, the tenant of a residence that I have bought together with associates. Her name is Yulia Minovsky. Her age is 70-something. Describe the whole case. Through CCTV footage, we have been, and knowing the name of the perpetrator, and I described Darren with all the information and how much of a nuisance he was. And please see attached articles. So this is a recurring offender in different things.
Okay.
And we would like to hire your services. Yours, no, Jonah. I don't sign with my name. I just go.
Okay. Do you mention how you get any of this information, or are you just compiling it?
With Jonah, how do I get it?
Yeah, I mean, for example, saying that you know it to be him that attacked Mrs. Morovsky.
CCTV footage, which I'll be happy to send to him because Jonah is my mask, and that's the one we use to sign buy the place. So I am acting like a concerned employer.
Okay, cool.
So all the information from the security cameras, the police, Julia Mirovsky, he's right now at the hospital. Police could be contacted, and I send it from the desk of my mask, which is the investment firm that Jonah has.
Okay, so you send off that email, and given the lateness, you're not expecting a response, and you send it off. Is there anything else you want to do in this last bit before I cut back to these guys?
Yes. Now I want to go. This is gonna be a nasty, nasty rabbit hole.
I love it already.
I want to find out a way to circumvent the grooming rings, the connectivity they used to have for like whatever. I want to find that hub because if at all possible, if I get to go in there, I will try to track anything, Darren's presence or any of his associate into the ring, or anyone in the ring that could have been interested in Macy.
Okay,
In the
within
last-
the grooming ring.
Yes, of course.
Okay, this will probably take more time than you have tonight. You can get started on it and then resume it tomorrow.
I'll start on it.
Okay. Because something like this is not something you're going to find in a quick search.
No,
on Google.
not at all.
Okay, so you begin setting up for that, but by this...
Great time to see.
Okay.
Sorry.
Apologies, guys. Okay.
That's
In
together
fact,
for a second.
that brings us up to a good point to have a break if we have it now, and then that means we can launch into it again. I will cut immediately to these guys who want to continue with their discussions on the rule system, and we will be back in 10 minutes to resume the
Yes.
game. Thank you, guys.
So, should I
Good.
start saying thank you before you?
I have something I want to do first. I want to add a foggy to the relationship.
Yay!
Oh, I love you.
Have you got any pins over here?
Well, hang on. Why don't we do the relationship map now? Because I'll get you a pin.
Yay!
So-
Okay, yeah.
If we.
I'm not going to stand up this time.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so not much has changed on the relationship map, but Abigail Bennings has appeared, who of course is Maisie, which we'll update.
Macy Fincher. So
I
we will
think
have
something
to
might be
update
down
that.
there from.
Yes, so of course, what was it? You as our viewers, but of course the rest of the coaches don't know about my contact of mine, Mr. Peyton, who the first name unknown at the moment, and a little view about her, which is find her, damn it.
So we talked about how if there are characters that have thoughts about other characters, they can also go on the board, and I added this from Benjamin to Katya, which is I feel so guilty, which I'm just going to take off the board now, as it is no longer relevant. And here is a pin for you.
Thank you.
That's why how you know.
Moses down in the
Oh,
corner.
Moses,
Oh.
Foggy needs to be down there.
And should we use like some other colored strand, because he's technically my ghoul, but he's not neither vampire nor
I mean,
So we
Still a
will
ghoul.
string. Yeah.
still immortal.
So
It
ghoul
still
is-
counts towards how many things.
No, I
you
know,
can have
but
above
the color of the string. It's not red
I
because
think
it's
we
not
should
a
just keep
vampire.
it blue for now when we do put the string
Yeah,
on, which
sure.
won't
Blue.
be right now.
Okay.
Or unless the chat will
We
like
promise
to,
you that.
do one.
We promise there will be string,
Yeah.
but we'll go for Foggy for next week.
And for Mr.
Oh,
Peyton
yeah.
as well.
I mean, MVP, guys. MVP.
Yeah, definitely.
MVP unless Jim's really
has
pissed
been
off.
Will so far. I'm sorry.
And is that? I think that might
We
be
can
it
fight
for board editions.
Yeah, we haven't added that much this time.
Cool.
Okay, let's put some back.
Okay. So, let's start with a quick shout out to you guys that are watching. I asked, I've been asking for the last couple of weeks so that you leave us either a message on the chat or a comment in the platforms we're checking, or either Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And I would really love if it was like just one, but I cannot pick one. But I'll look for it. I asked, where are you watching us from? So, to the person in Australia, you, sir or madam, are a legend. In the UK, we have people watching us from Bristol, Nailsea, and London so far.
Yay!
From the USA, someone from Chicago, Illinois, which I believe
Oh,
was
wow.
the winner of our last
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
our last giveaway.
Those giveaways are, by the
So-
way, being posted.
Yeah,
as
to
we
all of
speak.
you, thank you very much. There is someone watching from France. I don't know exactly where in France, but Nosferatu Power. Merci beaucoup. I know who he is. well, I guess we tweeted to each other. From Germany, Dankeschön. Norway, Tusen Tack. Uruguay, Montevideo. These are my friends. So a quick shout out to AFO. Muchas gracias por el apoyo que nos han prestado. Se les quiere y extraño un montón. From my native Venezuela and my friends in Caracas, muchísimas gracias. And from Tampere, apologies, I do not know how to pronounce Finnish cities. So from Finland, Kiitos paljon. Thank you very much to all of you.
Oh my God, it's from a hell of a long way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to do a really quick shout out to the Twin Cities Vampire the Masquerade podcast group. They've been wonderful. They've been really supportive of us. They've got a really great Discord channel that you can join, which is great for talking about VTM. And they regularly post about their campaigns as well, which are great. So you should really check those guys out.
So we mentioned in our very first Twitch stream about how we're using the V5 system, and one of the exciting things about that is the whole hunger dice system. So for most of your checks, you're generally using dark coloured dice or any other colour but red dice. And we use red dice for hunger dice in this game. And the hungrier your vampire gets, the more these red dice start to make up your pool. And what's nice about this is it's a way to reflect the beast getting more and more control. So you can't use willpower to re-roll these dice, you can only use them on the darker dice. And the thing that Rachel's going to talk about in a moment are the kind of the consequences potentially. So if these dice roll anything from 2 to 9, they function like any other dice. However, if they come up with a 10 and make up part of a critical win, which is normally a great thing because that's like getting double successes.
That's your nat 20.
It basically turns that into what we call a messy critical. So you still achieve what you set out to do and you do it spectacularly, but you do it in a spectacularly bestial way. So rather than giving someone a light tap on the head to knock them out, you maybe rip out their throat in a clearly supernatural manner. Things like that. And the other issue is if you get a 1 on one of these dice and you don't succeed at what you're doing, that then becomes what's called a bestial fail. And bestial fails can lead to something called compulsions, which is what I'm going to pass over to Rachel to describe.
So last session I rolled a bestial failure in the clearly balanced and tense fight against Darren. And essentially that has given Katya a compulsion that she has to that will be affecting her until she either satisfies it or until she essentially rests and then rouses the following night. And I don't know if anyone's guessed what her compulsion is yet, but that might be why she's acting a little bit off colour. But the difficult thing about compulsion is if you do anything that is not acting towards your compulsion, you suffer a -2 dice penalty to your dice pool. At the moment, I have that currently stacked with the fact that I have a massive wound, which also gives me a -2 dice penalty to any physical pools, combined with the fact that I am also impaired from taking my full track of damage, which gives me a further -2 to my dice pool. I believe for almost... Is that for anything or again for physical?
For which one?
The general impairment.
That's for
The
everything.
impairment. No, what the impairment through damage, just
Yes.
for physical.
Okay, so essentially I've got I've got -4 to anything involving something physical, -2 towards anything that's not towards my compulsion. So most of the dice pools I'm rolling tonight will probably be 1 dice, because you always have a minimum of 1.
It's something of a miracle she broke that window when you think about it.
It is worth noting that you only satisfy compulsions when you satisfy the criteria, so sleeping will not get
Oh
rid
damn!
of it.
Okay, sorry, Darren.
You have to satisfy the compulsion.
Alright.
They're a pain like that, guys.
I think Darren might get killed, not by me, but her.
No,
Nothing gets
you're gonna
past
have
the
to hold him
storyteller,
down.
You try and slip a few things in. Like, all vampires can fly.
I have access to a book now to have a look at.
Hey,
So-
thaumaturgy 4,
Yeah.
my friend.
That was us discussing a rule that we found really interesting and its effects. We will add some string to the relationships map for next week. And remember, send us a message. Where are you watching us from? Doesn't matter if it's live or later on any other platform, and I think it's time to go back. So thank you very much again for
Thank you so much.
Hello. Sorry, that's my cue in. So, leaping straight back into it, guys. After your investigation is going to take for the rest of the night.
Oh, okay. Do I need to do like a sustained roll, or just one roll for the rest of the night?
We'll call it an extended action. So the first check will be resolve technology.
Resolve technology.
Yep. Given how exactly you're going to be looking into this, because the kind of
Actually, I have to outthink them.
yeah. Okay. It will still be resolved because it's a prolonged test. It's probably going to be a higher difficulty unless you're using resources to try and cut down through the kind of subterfuge necessary to gain access to this information.
I'm using my servers, like my pimped out servers on my Haven.
Okay. So, all right, we'll call it an extended roll. Each roll is going to be a night, and this is unlikely to be.
This is going to take a while, but
It's going to take a while.
Different.
Also, you will have a -2 die penalty because you are cramming this into the last 3 hours you have. Success? Any?
No. I just those are me. That's me
Obsolete.
dropping extra
Dramatic.
dice that are not going to be used.
Okay.
Slightly dramatic.
Yeah.
There is a 10 and a
Single
4 and a
10?
3, so
Just one success.
So one success.
one success.
But
But I mean, given that I'm cramming it on the end of the night, I'm playing with Foggy, and I found a lot of information regarding Darren. I also send the petition for Alan Bird to serve as Mrs. Mirovsky's legal representation, and I sent him a dossier. I print a copy of the dossier that I
Hang on, hold
put.
Cut for just a second.
Cut.
We cut off just for a bit. Back on now.
Are we
but
back
you
up?
might want to go backwards a bit.
Are we back?
Yeah.
How far back? Sorry?
I think we missed the result of that roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we back live now?
Yep.
Yep. Hi guys. Because you missed that, we're going to work on the assumption that we cut out before the die results. So how many successes?
One success.
One success. Okay. Just in case we missed it as well, there was a die penalty on that because extended successes work in that there's no set difficulty. Well, there is, but not as normal. If you don't get a number of successes in your first roll, it doesn't mean you just naturally fail it. Instead, it means that you build up successes over a period of time, with each roll representing a period of time and effort. When you achieve that number of successes, you finally achieve what you're after. Critical wins, I personally bank and then make note of because it contributes towards the final result, as well as giving you more successes. Bestial failures and utter failures are also noted. So you will do this, and this takes up the remaining 3 hours. Are you remaining in your haven, or are you going back to the
I'm
Crosstowns?
staying in my haven.
Okay.
With Foggy.
Okay. Is there anything you three, now that I've finished discussing with Moses, is there anything you three want to do in the last 3 hours that you have before dawn?
I would want to go and grab a meal deal or something from a 24-hour grocery store, but I am going to ask Jim if he will do it. I'll give him the money and say, look, I look like I've been beaten up 3 ways to Sunday. I think you could agree it's probably not a good idea. I show my face around out there, so would you be able to pop out and just grab something? You said you wanted to help heal Will. She needs to eat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stay with her.
I will.
And don't smash some of your windows. That
No.
was funny.
I'll try.
Where's my... How fucking long is it? Hammering fucking windows. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'll go do that.
Okay. What are you doing, Benjamin?
I'm making preparations for my next glorious piece of artwork. Would you like to know what they are, or do you just want to know?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so he's going to have this sudden inspiration. You said there were quite big shards of glass, didn't you, from the window? So he's going to lay them out on the floor, but in a slightly exploded pattern, but slightly. And so what he's going to do, he's going to start painting a kind of a vague outline of Katia, but as if she was caught in the reflection of the shattered window. so that we can kind of obscure her identity slightly, but also kind of mix up where the injuries are with the angles of some of the glass and stuff. So I'm going a little bit more abstract and funky with this one.
Out of the reservation.
So that's where I'm starting with. So I'm laying out a pattern, getting a basic idea. I'm noting where I thought the injuries were. Take a guess at the ribs. I don't think it's got to be too accurate. I figure I can still pretty accurately remember the flappy bit on the thing. So I'll just make again. I'm just kind of making sure I don't forget kind of where on her body these things were. And then when I've done all that, I'll pack everything away and stash it away somewhere.
Okay, excellent. Jim's heading to the shops. What are you doing towards the end of the night?
I'm pacing all over this. Like, obviously, probably not in Ben's room because he's locked himself in. But I'm just pacing around. I'm trying to keep myself occupied because I'm feeling like absolute shit. And just like trying to do something inane, and the only thing I could do right now is just pacing around. And I'm also going to have I'm gonna now and again I'm probably gonna try see the unseen as I'm just kind of wandering over this old empty B&B.
Okay. You go wandering up and down the stairs with your footsteps echoing through these largely empty, in fact pretty much empty halls at this point. You don't manage to see anything. There's the occasional quiver of a shadow which draws your eye, but a quick glance around, there's nothing that you can discern. And you're thorough. You go between all the various runs. You even venture down towards the basement. As far as Mrs. Morovsky's room, you can't see anything. And then as you return up towards back up towards your room, is there anything else you're doing?
On the way up, I will a window that looks out onto the road outside the front of the building. I'll stand there and just watch the street for a minute, kind of just think, almost like willing Darren to be there.
Okay, he's not, but if you will hard enough, he's still not going to be there. Nope. You watch, and this early in the morning, the vast majority of people moving back and forth that you manage to see are largely people that are heavily intoxicated, or people with no homes to go to, wandering back and forth, or curled up in sleeping bags in doorways. You do manage to spy the return of Jim, who comes back towards the front door and unlocks it. There is no deadbolt put across because he can get through with his key. And you can't get through the windows anymore, Jim, because you nailed them in. Well, you can try if you want.
Have to break a new one.
Yeah, you can break a new one. Go through Ben's. No. But as you come back in and you lock it up behind you, put the deadbolt back in place, you go back upstairs just past Katia, who's looking out through one of the windows towards her room. You can see in his hand that he's got a meal deal with an assortment of things, a chocolate bar, some crisps, a drink, and one of those really old and bland looking sandwiches, but they're there. It's meat, it's food.
And it's all hers.
Figured this would do it. I pull out a chocolate bar and I do miss this.
Yeah, well, doesn't really matter at the moment. Thank you though for going to get it. I'll take it up to her.
You plan on sleeping in the same room as her tonight, or?
No, I'm gonna find a room for her down here.
Right. Thank you, yeah, bring that down.
And first I want to head upstairs with the food and very, very gently, she's asleep, wake her.
You open the door and immediately the light is cast on Will. Her eyes are shut and she is asleep. So you rouse Will. She gingerly gets back up and you help her. She doesn't say anything as you escort her from the room. And she goes downstairs into one of the vacant rooms, the same one that Abigail had attempted to pay for, or had paid for but hadn't used. And you lead her inside and gingerly lay her back down on the bed. There is no lighting. She doesn't attempt to turn it on, and when you close the door again, clicks
to
behind
make sure
you.
she's got everything I think she needs.
She's got as you set down the food, that she doesn't pay much attention to it. It's obvious that at the moment sleep is what she's clearly in the mood for, and her eyes flitter as she watches you depart, and then she falls asleep again, and the door clicks behind you. You can feel that tension beginning to go through your bodies, along with the lethargy that comes with knowing instinctively dawn is approaching. It's still about an hour and a half off, but there's a part of you that knows, and a part of you that's instinctively fearful, as though you are expecting at any moment through those windows, those non-boarded windows, or even through the boarded windows, at any point maybe you've misjudged the time, and maybe that sun is going to rise and just peek through, and it only takes a moment, and then you're gone. This isn't stuff that you've witnessed, this is something you know on an instinctive level, and it makes you uneasy. And Katia, at this point, it's making an already aggressive personality worse. Are you all heading back to your rooms? I'm assuming Ben's still in his room.
Yeah.
On my way up, I want to call for these two.
Okay.
I need to speak to you both before we turn in. Now.
I'm what? Well, have you still got that hammer? I'm not coming out of the room.
No, but I have.
All right.
Ben, I'm not joking. This is important.
Well, I'm not joking either. The last time I saw you, you were very violent. Is it all right to come out, Jim?
Yes.
Jim.
Yeah, she'll be alright.
Okay, I'll take the chair away and I'll peek around the door.
Okay.
I was joking.
I look like I probably still could hit you with a hammer if I wanted to. No, listen, I'm going to turn in. In the morning, I might need you to bring me something to eat. Jim, I'm relying on you mostly, as you can imagine. Makes more sense.
Yeah.
You might need to subdue me, or I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but keep me away from Will. Do not let her come up and try and help, whatever happens.
Can I just clarify something?
Yes.
What might you be capable of tomorrow night? What are we preparing for here?
How hungry have you ever been?
Well, last night actually was the hungriest. Sorry, tonight is the hungriest I've ever been. Actually, I really felt it in my stomach. You know, really twisted. It was horrible.
Yeah, you can get so hungry that you'll snap and just kill someone, drain them dry.
Right.
That is what we might risk here.
So what you're saying is that tomorrow you might be so hungry you won't just smash windows.
That's about the gist of it. But
Right. And you don't know how you will be.
Nope.
Right. Well, in that case, if that's the situation, shouldn't we restrain you?
She brought it until she wakes up, then we'll find out.
No, that's a stupid idea. If she doesn't know how she's going to be in the morning, and she could be violent and aggressive, why don't we restrain her now? And then if she wakes up and is fine and says, I'm fine, we just let her go.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm grabbing Ben by the collar. You're not restraining me.
Jim's starting to warm up.
You're gonna leave me be. You're gonna wait and see what happens. You're gonna listen, and you are going to react accordingly.
Well, I'm mainly in this Ben.
Right. Is this a sort of warm-up to how you might be tomorrow? Is that what this is?
I'm just gonna throw him aside and just stomp up the stairs.
That's why we should restrain her. Take my lead. I'm the one that's getting beaten up and things smashed up, not you.
I'm liking the side of her.
Why? What's wrong with you? She was so nice a few nights ago. She's lost it. I think that horrible trauma has obviously affected her mind. And if she's worried that she'll be even worse tomorrow, don't you think we should take precautions rather than reacting? At the very least, we should, I don't know, lock her door or block it from the outside or something.
Oh, she'll lock her door. I'll pick my way in if needed. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, if I've gone into her room, you can probably hear me doing the locks.
Yeah, so we might have to bring a human back.
What?
We might have to bring a human back for her to feed on.
Bring a human back? What are you talking about, Jim? Where are we going to get a human? Why are you even saying it like that? A human from?
Would you prefer a kine?
I don't think I prefer any of those things. Where Where are you going to get a person, a living, breathing person? And you can't just grab them off the street or go to the supermarket and pick one up, can you? Can you? You're not going.
Not to the supermarket, but on the street you can find them. Seen the homeless? How do you think I get most of my blood?
I don't have any idea, and now I'm starting to have an idea, and I wish I didn't have it. This is awful. Right. Oh. Well, so I suppose, but if she's fine, we don't have to worry about this.
No.
Oh, good. Well, all right. Well, hopefully she'll be fine, and if she's not fine, then we can worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, fine. Good night.
Night, Ben. Lock up tight.
I will be locking the door, blocking the door, you know. Double checking my boards are on the windows, pulling the curtains and all that.
Okay.
Jim's quietly chucking to
Put in a
himself
rosary.
as he goes to them.
No.
Get ghost.
It's a good thing you're on the floor just underneath mine, really.
You all begin turning in towards your respective rooms just as you feel that lethargy and that ache grow. And you all drift to sleep. And Katia, as you feel sleep descend upon you, that tension's still there, not just the beast's, but your own. You can feel a kind of numbness and the feeling of something climbing over your shoulder, almost as though like 100 small spiders are just going over it. And that's the sensation that you go to sleep to. Starting with Moses and working down the table. An awakening roll, please. What is your new hunger level?
3.
Oh.
So
I'm going to make a note of these now.
Immediately gonna go out hunting for animal blood
Okay, we'll
with Foggy. Actually, he can hunt for rabbits. I can drink them dry. But me and Foggy go out to hunt.
Okay, we'll do
For
that in a
animals.
moment. Ben.
Yay!
Hunger.
What's your luck? I think I should go last.
What is your hunger?
It's hunger 2.
Hunger 2. Jim.
Cheers, Mitch. Hunger. I got 9 on the rouse check. Thank you, Mitch. So I'm still at hunger 1.
Okay.
Keep it there.
Okay,
Nice.
now, for those at home, the reason why everyone's dreading this roll is not only does every time a kindred wakes up, they need to perform a rouse check to see whether or not their hunger increases from the act of the blood inside them forcing their bodies to reanimate. It's the thing that makes hunger necessary, makes feeding necessary, even if a kindred never uses their powers, never heals or anything like that. Eventually, they will succumb to hunger unless they eventually feed. So a rouse check is required every time they wake up. In order to heal an aggravated point of damage, which Katia is now subject to, you consciously need to decide to do so. And on top of the rouse check you make to wake, you need to perform 3 rouse checks in order to heal the... Well, you heal the damage anyway, but then you make the 3 checks. So Katia now, instead of performing 1 rouse check, will perform 4.
Oh my goodness.
Are you healing this point of damage?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. The 3 checks first.
Yeah. Number 1.
What hunger are you at, sorry?
I was at 1. I'm now at 2.
Oh.
Okay, still at 2. Still at 2.
Okay.
Oh, still well.
So heal the aggro.
Yep.
And
Okay.
the rouse.
Now I've got to wake up. Still at 2.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
I still have 5 points of superficial damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so cross that one off. You no longer have aggravated. You are still full on the track. So whilst you no longer suffer your critical wound, because it would have been healed at the same time, you are still subject to impairment until you heal. Because her health track is full, so she suffers impairment, which basically means her physical dice pools are reduced by 2 until she clears some space in the health track. You still have your compulsion. What are your respective humanity levels?
7.
7,
That is the standard, yes.
7, 7,
Yeah.
7.
6.
Okay. You 3 rouse before he does. Katia, as you wake, the first thing you are aware of is the numbness in your shoulder is gone, and the pain that was striking out from there, like someone was habitually stabbing at the bone, and the feeling and almost internal sound of bone scraping on bone is no longer there. And as you kind of turn your head towards the side, you glance towards your left shoulder and you see that the naked flesh is now healed. It is now over. It's pale as it normally would be, but it's largely healed. Your jaw still aches, and your side, based upon where you're lying where you're lying, and the fact your body's twisted of its own accord at an angle, you've still got a broken rib. But you're a hell of a lot better, and you feel a lot better than you did before, and you don't feel as ravenously hungry as you were expecting. You turn and look towards the corridor, which you can see through the wide open door, and the light which is on beyond it. And you, Benjamin, as you wake up, you find all your carefully arranged glass pieces in a pile. Jim, as you wake up, the room is exactly how you left it. All three of your doors are open, and the lights outside of your doors are on.
Fuck.
Okay, I'm going to use heightened senses, and I'm going to be listening for the sound of anyone moving about, in the building. And I'll also then be looking around the room to see if whoever moved the glass left any footprints in the glass or anything, any sign of their passing.
Okay.
And I'll check and then ultimately check the door, etc., etc.
Okay, we'll say wits plus awareness check. No, wits plus investigation.
Wits plus investigation, eh? Can I count a forensic specialty? No. Can I count my heightened senses?
Yeah, sure.
So, wits. So I want to, that's wits. Dabadoo. 3 successes.
Okay. You glance around your room and you are being pretty thorough. Before you went to sleep, particularly when you were cleaning up after Katia, you took note. And you're a meticulous person everywhere. Anyway, things have their place. Nothing else has been moved in the room apart from these shards. There are no traces. There are no additional breakages. The sizes of the piece, and because you arranged them into a particular way, you are aware of the sizes of these pieces. They are all otherwise untouched. There's no smears on them.
Right.
The door is unlocked. The chair is just besides it. The light is on outside, and you can hear going upstairs the various footfalls of Katia and Jim as they're rousing and awaking.
Okay, well, I'm just going to listen to if Katia sounds like she's like charging around her floor, going "Ah!" or something of that nature. I'm going to like board the door and because I'll be just waiting to hear for sounds of violence. I think at this stage.
Okay.
Jim is going to spray out to check.
Katia, how do they find you?
I'm just kind of... I'm sitting there and prodding the newly healed flesh, kind of, with vague interest for the moment.
So, no frothing, evil, mad vampire. She is lying there, just admiring the shoulder, which you can note even in the darkness of the room, thinly lit though it is by the corridor light. The pale flesh, which is no longer hinged but whole. There's no trace of any markings left behind.
Good. Your door too, eh?
Yeah, I wondered if yours might be open.
Yeah. I wonder how Ben took that.
Sorry, can I actually hear them with heightened senses?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go up to find them.
Okay. You guys can hear... and then Ben appears at the door.
Good evening.
Hello, you seem yourself.
In control? Yes.
Good, that's good. But the bad news is that something not only is opening doors in this place, but I barred my door with a chair, and my window is boarded up, and it's still whoever it is got inside, moved the chair, and unlocked the door without forcing the lock, and I did, and that's how. This is very bad, isn't it? I mean, at the moment, it's, I suppose,
It certainly could have been.
harmless. Well, exactly. They could have done anything to us, couldn't they?
If they wanted to, I think they would have.
I think they were hoping that I would.
If they'd wanted
Maybe.
to this night, but what if they want to tomorrow? What's to stop them then?
I think Mrs. Moravsky might know a few things about it. She has lived in this place for
Why
quite a
will
while.
Mrs. Morovsky know anything? This is extremely supernatural, and we don't know anything about it. What's she going to know?
She's the experience of being here for God knows how long. She may have had a deal with this entity. I don't know.
A deal? What?
That seems somewhat unlikely.
I don't know about fucking ghosts or whatever the hell.
That's exactly my point. You don't know
She
what
might.
we do.
So, I've been looking. I haven't seen anything myself yet. I can sometimes see things of this nature. The same way I am sure you can see and hear things that a normal person couldn't. Am I right?
Yes, I can hear things, especially comments about me that aren't very nice. But yes, I can hear things. I can hear things, and I've looked, and there is no trace. This intruder is not leaving anything that I can see, and
Right.
and I know my room, and there's nothing's been disturbed or left. You know, not like when Darren was here. Not like him at all. This is not him. I've got this worry. We're suggesting it might be a ghost or something. We know that it's something that's very hard to see. What if it's the one that's watching me? I mean, I've never known them move things in my room like they did this time, or leave doors open. That's not really. I'm just saying, could it be them?
I'll tell you if I see anything. For good measure, I'll probably be using See the Unseen again, and I'm gonna carry on downstairs. I'm not particularly keen on being in Ben's presence at this point still. It hasn't really changed.
Jim's going to go check the front door.
You go downstairs, and the front door's locked. It's exactly how you left it. You wander through the building. There's nothing there. Nothing that you can see. You can't discern any otherwise unseeable presences. The building looks pretty much how it appears at a first glance. Besides how it normally looks, there is nothing there.
Okay. I will, for the hell of it, I'm getting a little bit frustrated as it's not hard to do in this state.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to call out. Listen, if you show yourself, I will be able to see you. I want to know who you are, and I'd be curious to know why you're here. And I'm trying to keep my tone level, and I'm trying to be amiable as I can come across.
You wait. You wait.
Very well. And I'll wait for a moment more before I also head to the lobby.
You head down through the lobby, looking still dishevelled after the incident as before, but with the blood cleared away and the bits of the vase removed, there's no outward signs of a scuffle. The keys are all off their hooks. They're pulled on the ground. And as you go around the corner, Will's door's wide open.
Okay, I march straight towards her room.
Okay. As you look through with the light on, which is also downstairs, she's still there. She's asleep beside the bed. She is fine. The food is all open, half eaten, but it's still there. She looks pretty much how you left her, albeit in, again, a very uncomfortable position, but it's got to be more comfortable than lying on her back or her sides.
Well, I will quickly go and get her like a fresh glass of water. Just try and do something constructive.
Okay. Moses, come back to you guys in a moment.
I'm with Foggy.
You are, and as you wake up with Foggy, looking around your haven, it's reassuring now to be in a place where you're pretty certain nothing's been moved. You do a double check. You are pretty thorough about this, but there's nothing there. You do, however, wake up to your pager. I will need that page back. Sorry, I can't keep reading. Your page is blipped. There is no responses on. There is no responses to your email. However, your pager is.
I grab Foggy. He's like, "Who's a good dog? Who's a good dog? We're going hunting." We go, and I try to satiate my blood as fast as possible. I don't want to make it like a long night of hunting. No. I go to a place where I know that I can find a couple of animals. I don't care.
Okay. Within the domain?
Yeah, preferably.
Okay. So you're going to travel to the domain.
Is there a problem with hunting animals outside your domain? Yeah, unless there's another.
Yes.
Yeah, I do it within the domain. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll try. Actually, that's a question Moses will ask himself, and he goes like, "I'm pretty hungry. The last thing I want to do is get into an argument with anyone about anything. So even if it's stray cats, rats, dogs, I don't care. Like at some point I have to do it. And right now, given the situation, I want to have my hunger sated as much as possible without having to drink a human dry."
Okay. So, what method are you using to hunt?
Here, kitty, animalism one.
Okay. Remind me of animalism
Here,
one.
doggy. Animalism one. Basically is not necessarily like me talking to an animal and like having a conversation. Well, at least not in the conversation that he will enjoy or entertain. No, it's more like an empathic kind of thing. Okay. It allows me to do my families.
Okay.
And
Well, we'll
bond,
say
and bond animals.
we'll say it will make the process of actually getting them to be easier.
Yeah.
So I'll lower the difficulty. You will need to do, assuming you're still trying to keep out of sight, especially if you have Foggy with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will say then that this will be.
But I don't care if Foggy is seen, and I think he might not care if he's seen.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll say it will be wits plus stealth then.
That's
Difficulty 3.
Murdering people's cats. It's
so
gonna be some
that's
stains.
4 and 3. So yeah. No, Messi criticals.
Best you fail.
Okay.
Guys, we don't want this. Remember, we
Span
don't
cap
want
up.
another compulsion.
I know. It should be funny.
Wait. 1 fail.
Okay.
Rerolled already. 3 successes. 9, 7, 6.
Nice.
No 10s. Nowhere near a Messi critical. I'm really sorry for Will's pet. Will doesn't have a pet, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
I was just apologizing because I see writing and I was like, oh, your ghoul has no pet. Because my pet ghoul. Well, that would be fun. My pet ghoul being with your ghoul.
Okay.
No.
That'll be a side spin-off
So-
series.
What is your BP? Your blood potency?
Bing.
Okay. So you do manage to find a stray dog, which is moving back and forth. What you assume it's a stray dog. It's more likely one of the dogs owned by the homeless individuals. You do manage to gain its attention, and it follows off towards you. The individual in question is asleep and curled up in one of the doorways, but the animal is a perk enough that as soon as you make noise, its head lifts and its ears come up, and it stares at you for a while. Stares towards Foggy, and then as the lips lift as though to growl, animalism begins kicking in, and you just gesture. And very, very slowly it just sits and watches, and then gets up, head lowered slightly as though it's uncertain. It just moves across towards you, goes into the alleyway and vanishes. How much are you taking?
Can I take one off of him and one from the homeless guy, since he's already there?
He is in full view of everyone and asleep.
And taking 2 out of the dog really gentle and tenderly will most likely kill him.
Probably. There's not a lot left in it. This isn't a big dog. This is
Dogs
like,
count as innocent, by the way.
1. I take 1. 1 is enough.
Okay, are you doing it carefully?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So
As the dog comes up to you and begins sniffing towards your hand as you lift it out, its tail is wagging very slowly as though it's still uncertain. As you leaning and stroke it, it gains a bit more confidence to come close. And then as you slowly part the fur around its neck, you just lean in and bite. And the dog immediately tries to pull away and yank away, but your hands just hold it in. And you can hear the... And then you pull away, and the dog, the moment that you lick, it pulls away, sniffs, growls, and then just darts back as quickly as it can across the road, almost getting struck by a car, but it manages to make its way back. And it sits.
that would have been a waste of blood. No, I mean, that would have been a pity.
It almost sees to place itself over the top of the individual that's... Yeah, and just lowers its head and is just growling. And then flaps its ears and just continues to growl as it just looks over in your corner. Foggy's just watching.
Yeah.
Completely unfazed by this. You do regain 1.
Brilliant. And then I have to dress up. I go, since I'm already in the domain, I go back to the haven, drop
Communal haven or yours?
the communal because I want to drop the folder before I leave.
Okay. So as you guys are wandering between the various places, you're rousing Will, and as she's waking up and moving, the door opens and Moses steps in.
And come on, guys, it's me. Take the chain out.
Chain's still there.
Well, I mean, I'll let him in if no other brother wants.
Jim's a
I'm
lot
totally
of...
Like
busy.
dramatic pause evil people.
You can kind of...
Oh yeah, I'll go and then.
Yeah, Jim's just gone down the lobby checking the door anyway, so he's round the...
Yeah.
The moment you open it, Moses is there, but between your legs you see something just dart between. And as you look around, you can see a fox just get halfway through, turn, look towards you, growl, and then potter off towards Will's room. Stops, immediately comes back round, passes you, stops, growls, and continues back. And then begins weaving in and out of his legs as he darts through.
Moses, I assume this is yours?
Yeah, that's Foggy, and this is all I found on Darren. And I have a really, really important meeting. I need to, like, the person who I owe the information to, I need to see them. So
Right.
I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna shower because I have to be
Hold on.
presentable.
You're going to get more than this?
Sorry?
You're going to get any more than this? Or
I think I can convince a very important. Well, he's not like majorly famous, but like he's a really, really good barrister to represent Mrs. Murovsky.
Right.
Oh,
So-
well, that will be good.
I'll be trying to take that, but I need to like change clothes so I can change. So I'm gonna have a shower. I'll be right back, and I just go downstairs and have like a really quick, good shower because it's getting late and I don't want it to get much later. I want to be as early as possible,
Okay.
but I didn't want to go there hungry.
Okay. What are you three doing now that Moses has departed? Foggy's gone off after him. It's weird seeing a fox voluntarily climb into a shower.
Oh yeah,
It is just sat there with its like ears half down, just enduring the dampness just to be close to you.
I just wash him. I mean, he's
It
also
seems
gonna
to
be
like
in the
that
meeting.
less.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be in the meeting and he's gonna like the next part better,
Okay.
so it's okay.
So, you three, what are you doing?
I am
He has a
looking
pet.
anxiously through the materials on Darren.
Okay.
I
I managed to
just-
find
okay.
similar information, the name of Darren and his accomplices, the information relating to Darren's arrest a year and a half ago.
So no one's missing then.
Maybe no Mrs. Friends either, but came out to us with a plan. Maisie, well, Abigail, he used her.
Yes. So
using,
where
her,
does
using hers on the table.
what does that mean? What does using her is on the table mean? I don't
I'd rather keep her out of it. This is between us and him.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to get him alone.
But don't we need to get him arrested? I mean, isn't that the point? That there's this information and there's a barrister that Moses found, and surely they will put this man away. It's not the first time he's done something. This is a terrible crime. Surely they'll put him away this time.
Yet, how long was he in jail for?
I haven't seen the full details of it.
He wasn't.
They never convicted
They
him.
never convicted him.
Well, no,
So-
but this time there's a barrister on the case, and we have
And I'm
evidence.
flicking through. Do I see this links to like a groomer's ring as well? That's not in this materials.
That's
you can
no,
that's
no
separate.
worry. There's no
Okay, cool.
mention of a groomer's ring.
Right.
This is just normal criminal
No.
activity.
Just common garden.
Like, I mean,
It's cocaine. It's light.
Yeah.
it's like, oh, sorry.
So he got scot-free. What do you think?
You see this? This is not someone who to go to prison. He was happy to murder an old woman in her own establishment.
I mean, no,
I'm quite happy to from his point of view, batter an innocent girl with a crowbar.
I understand that he would be he's happy to kill people, and that isn't right, and that we can't let that stand. But wouldn't putting him in prison be the neatest solution?
I don't
mean,
see why we
Moses
can't
seems
do both.
confident.
Yeah, even if he goes to prison, he'll come out. And what do you think he'll do when he gets out?
Well, I mean, won't that be in years and years' time?
Probably
We'll
not.
still be
He's
around.
got friends.
He's
They
got
can
friends, and yeah.
get
So,
him on.
So
all right.
we'll be looking over our shoulder.
Well,
And frankly, I don't like that.
so what would you do then? What are you talking about doing? You obviously have some plan in mind. Two of you.
Well, for a start, we'll need him alone.
And let's imagine that we've managed to isolate him from his friends, and let's say that, I don't know, it's in an environment where he's not overseen by others. What are you going to do?
He gives us what he owes us.
What? Why do you keep... Just tell me, what are you going to make him give us money? Are you going to beat him with a crowbar instead? What are you talking about?
Whilst I would like to see her beat him with a crowbar, I think that'd be very, very funny.
Oh my good... Funny?
Oh, come
No,
on.
beating someone with a crowbar is never funny.
A
Never.
little
No,
girl
it is
beating
not
a
funny.
Big asshole with a crowbar.
Little
Come
girl, I'm as tall as you are.
on. Think of it in retrospect. It's big. You didn't get the point.
Whatever happens,
No, you see, that's the point. You keep saying things like whatever, and
I don't
we're going to
know.
put things
I
on the
don't
table.
know what will
Yes,
happen.
you don't know. That's my point. You don't know. So until we know, we can't go after him. Yes, because things will get messy, and if we don't know what we're doing, we're going to make a bigger mess.
we can
and
take
that's going
control of it. We can handle it.
handle you. Yes, all right. How? Tell me what you want to do, and then maybe we can do it. Saying, well, we'll figure it out when we get there, seems to me a terrible
I
idea.
want to get even.
All right.
Yeah, I
so
want-
what would that mean to you? What would getting even mean?
It's clear. It's not something I've enunciated before. It's not something I'm used to. Kind of. I'm just so like I'm unable to really like form words.
Because
I don't know what I'll do, but I want to do something, and then afterwards, he won't know it even happened, or at least he won't know the details. But
You
he'll
can do that.
feel it.
so you're proposing that we hurt him physically. And
Yeah, fuck it. Yes.
Right, and how much? I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about a cuff on the ear? Are we talking about breaking his legs? What horrible manner of pain? I mean, what are we going to here? That's what I'm trying to establish. I'm not used to doing any of this. I fully accept he's a monster, and I agree that we should do something, but I'm really with Moses on this. I feel like he has a neat, sensible plan that involves us not going into danger and, getting him out of the way for years. We can deal with him in years to come. Wouldn't that be much better
I
than...
need to do this. I need this now.
Well, if you're serious, you said he wouldn't remember. What does that mean? And what's the point if he doesn't remember?
Well,
I mean, when you just feel he's fallen down the stairs or
he
something.
won't remember he won't remember the last 10 minutes. But he will wake up
You can...
and deal with his current predicament.
Right, all right. So you just... You don't care about, I don't know, teaching him a lesson, whatever that means. You just care about inflicting some pain upon him. That's what this boils down to. For yourself. Yes?
I don't know.
Because of what he did to you.
Yeah.
No, I understand. He's hurt you, and he's been a monster, and you want him to suffer. That I understand, and he's a terrible man. I just want us to know that, you know, if you're going to do something like this, that you don't just go in there and kill him by accident or something. That's what I mean. You know?
Well, that's why you'd be there.
Well, that's why I'd be there.
And you're sure that doing this won't just escalate things terribly?
I don't know.
That's why I'm not after him right now.
Do we know where he is?
We know where he lives with his daughter at the
Well,
moment.
we know where he lived. We know where he was before we did that. But do you think he might have moved, or do you think he's still going to be there?
With his clear financial situation, I would doubt it, but that's possible.
We could just
I'm gonna go check.
scope out his place for now.
I mean, I could probably go and have a look. I think with you if you want. I mean, I'm not talking about doing anything. I just mean going and
Ben, I know a little about your clan. I know you share a lot of similarities with my own. And am I right in thinking that you have a certain way with people with words?
Well, I think my clan does. I don't know so much that I do, but I think
Can you or can you not make kind follow your commands?
no. Well,
Right.
but I can. That thing you're talking about, that whole making them not remember. I'm quite good at being forgettable, if that's what you mean.
That won't convince him to.
No, no. I'm terrible. I don't think I'm going to have the right manner to convince Darren of anything, to be honest with you. But I think I could probably help work out where he is and where he's going and that kind of business. You know, if you want. If Jim's around, just in case. And maybe Moses, you know, nearby.
Yeah.
That would be... I could probably do that then, if you want.
Yes, it's a shame Moses isn't here.
Oh, he's got that meeting, hasn't he? Well, maybe... Do you think we should... Well, we could ascertain where he is, and then... But I don't think we should do anything until Moses comes back, just in case.
He's still there, downstairs showering.
Oh! We should
He
talk to
said-
Moses
he
when he
said
comes
he
out of the
was-
shower.
He said he was leaving, though.
Yeah.
Yes, he did seem like he was in some urgency, but he could come and find us when he's done. Because I doubt we're going to just... You know, it's going to take us a while to find Darren, and I don't think we want to do anything whilst he's active with his friends, but it might be good to see what he's up to.
The other option
Yes?
is we don't target Darren first. We target his companions.
What, follow one of them? The only thing is they
Yes.
do know what we look like too. I mean, it is going to be more dangerous now.
They haven't met
True.
me.
That's also true.
I mean, it was raining very heavily, and the lighting wasn't brilliant in that car park, it's true. And I suppose we could change our clothes a little bit.
Perhaps that might affect him more if his friends started.
Disappearing?
Yeah.
No, hang on. No, this is completely different. You were talking about making Darren suffer for what he'd done, but not killing him.
I like that plan.
No, I don't like that plan. Those other look, they're probably bad people, but it's not like they've done it. I mean,
I'd settle for either of them at this point, and like I pull up and show like the purple ribs and be like,
oh my goodness!
This was the second guy.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh my god, does it hurt? Does it hurt if I do
I'm
this?
not prodding it. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
looking.
that is quite clearly a broken rib. You can
Yeah.
tell by the bump
That was-
coming out, the slight ridge from the protrusion.
Note any striking features for later.
That was the second guy. So I'm quite happy to see either one of them, whichever's easier.
Well,
How about-
perhaps at this stage we just find out where they live and
Yeah.
where they.
Yeah.
Where they
Okay.
are.
Yeah. We'll find out where the others.
and
Find out where they're based.
but we don't hurt anyone or do anything until we talked about it with Moses.
Unless the situation is right.
Well,
No, there is no right situation unless Moses is here, because we need to all talk about this, because he's part of the coterie. We shouldn't just go and do these things without...
Fine. We'll find out.
That's
where
what you told me.
We'll find out where the others live, and we'll call him.
All right, I can get on board, but I think we should change, and maybe we shouldn't take the umbrella, and we shouldn't walk together, because that will make us more obvious.
Yeah.
I think the umbrella will be a giveaway. So I'm going to go and change. I'm going to change in something less me, if you like, and I'll see what I can find, and I think we should do that, and I think you should just change. You know, because they might recognise you if you keep wearing the same clothes.
Do you have any other clothes?
Not really.
Well, mine won't
Well,
fit you.
you should have said, Jim. I'm sure we can pick something up for you. Not a suit this time. I just mean some other clothes.
Yes, we'll head into Marks and Spencer on our way to take out some goons.
Hey, there are. I mean, probably not. It's too late tonight. But if we were quick, I mean, late night opening on a Thursday, maybe we could.
January sales.
Or mail order. We could order something. We'll order you something. I'll order you some. I'll find something. We've got your measurements. It's fine. I'll deal with it. Won't be tonight, but I'll deal with it.
Well, I'm pleased we sorted that out.
Right. I'm going to get changed. I'll see you in the lobby. I'm going to go back to my room.
I got someone to check up on. I'll be back 2ish.
Okay.
Fine.
So
And where are you going?
To keep the same mind.
I'm gonna go get.
What are you talking about?
I'm just gonna head back up to my room, and I'm going to grab just a black coat or something to wear over. I'm already wearing fairly innocuous stuff, and then I'm straight back downstairs. I'm just waiting by the front door.
Okay. Will does stir as you go, but she doesn't say anything as you leave. Moses. Blow drying yourself and Foggy. That's just the puff up of fur, the little orange fur ball at your feet.
This is a game of personal storytelling horror.
Yes. Well,
No, it's queer.
he looks horrified personally, but with Foggy in tow, where do you go?
I just go upstairs. If no one is upstairs, I just go. I just get into the car. Foggy jumps up, and I drive all the way to Lucy's.
Okay.
All the way to 5 blocks away or 10 blocks away from Lucy's.
Okay.
And then I'll just sneakily and stealthily walk my way in.
Okay.
I try to make a mental calculation. What day of the week is it? How far into the month are we? To figure out if Susan has already started night school, like her night, like
She has.
that makes sense. That's why she's probably contacting me. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Smart.
So, how are you approaching this? Are you obfuscating?
I am initially. I am waiting for no movement around her area of her house. Yes, obfuscated, but obfuscated one. Yes, standing in the shadows. And once I am aware that there is no one else around, then I will just normally cross the street, towards her house, and then just a little stone or something that lets her know that I am there.
And then the curtains begin moving, and then a pale face kind of appears on the other side. Small face. You can see the very top of it, almost as though they're trying to peer over something. And then you can see a hand kind of attached to a latch and struggle with it, and then open. And then you can kind of just see these pale limbs trying to pull up
Yeah,
on the
it's
other
okay.
side.
I just turn around, making sure absolutely nobody else sees, probably from a rear window or whatever. I grab Foggy. I grab Foggy. And I just jump. It's
Okay.
one story, like to the second floor.
Okay. So, does that require a rouse check?
No, Potions and Swans doesn't
Okay.
require.
So, you bound up.
I jump very stealthily. Whatever that means.
Hard to jump stealthily. Leave that there for a moment. So, you leap up towards the window and land as carefully as you can on the other side. Foggy disliking the sudden jarring effect of being pulled up, but it doesn't make any noises. And you can see, just kind of standing quite excited at the end of a bed in a full kind of night gown, Lucy, who...
Inside, drop Foggy into the ground, close the curtain, close the thing. I sit down by the little table, take my beanie off. Madame Lucy, glad you invited me to have some tea. And I grab one of the teacups.
This young girl that's there with long hair, completely unbraided, quite a pale young face, but very alert and intelligent eyes. It's odd, the fact that you are there completely unmasked and being stared at, unfazed and uncaring by this 7-year-old who just looks excited to see you. And as Foggy kind of bounds up and just starts rubbing against her side, and she just kind of ruffles him. She seems to note his attention after giving you the full extent of it, and then starts following his ears as she moves over and then sits down next to you and just grabs up her own cup. You were away for a while.
As I told you, I had very important business with the prince.
And the queen?
No, the queen has left a while ago.
Why?
Well, just she went to visit someone. It was difficult to see her. She's really important. But the prince, I met him, and it's an important kind of fella.
Grabs the tea kettle and just pours. There's nothing in it.
Yeah, of course.
But
and everything's toys.
Yeah.
Do you see my mom?
No, she's sleeping, right?
Oh. When will you see my mom?
It's complicated. I mean, I've told you this, and I put the teacup aside. Right now, in order for you to see your mom, you have to grow up. It'll be a while. A long while. And remember, after I finish my mission here, is when I will get to see her. But then after that, I'm not coming back. We will both be waiting for you.
When I'm older?
Yeah. A lot older.
Will Foggy be there?
Depends. You want Foggy to come? Okay, I'll make you a deal. If you are a good girl and you behave, and you just think of your mom, but stop wanting to see her so much. You have to be patient. Maybe I'll take Foggy with me.
Okay.
How's your auntie? How's Susan?
She's away a lot, but I like having her here.
Yeah, she's nice. Well, she started studying. She's really smart.
I want her to meet Foggy.
I don't think Susan likes foxes.
But then maybe she'll let me have a dog.
Wouldn't it be easier for you to introduce her to a dog? Do you don't have any other friends with dogs?
No.
Oh. Well, you're what? Year 1, right? Year 1? You're studying year 1 right now? Oh, but you're in break. Oh, this is... Try to negotiate. Oh, that's a complicated word for me, even.
I know what negotiate means.
Okay, see, you're smarter than I am. So you can start talking to Susan about a puppy for your birthday.
Or a cat. Or both.
Don't get carried. Let's not get carried away.
They'll be lonely.
Yeah, I know you've been lonely, but a puppy.
See, that's negotiation.
Is a good company. See?
Tea?
And she pours you more in your empty cup.
Thank you very much, milady. It's okay. Ask for a dog first. They're easier to take care of. And then if everything goes well and she likes the dog, then ask for the cat. But patience.
I'm gonna call it Moses.
You're gonna call the dog Moses? Why?
No, the cat, because he slinks away.
Okay.
And it'll jump through my window.
Most likely, yeah.
The dog won't.
No.
No.
I just started laughing with her. Like, have you been okay? Anybody else has anybody tried to bother you?
No.
How's everybody treating you at school?
Okay. I mean, there's this one kid, this Bradley kid. He's like a real mean, but I just tell him to go away and leave me alone, or I tell the teacher, and then he leaves me alone.
That's good. You have to stand your ground. You don't have to fight him. You just have to be brave and face the situation. And if he starts getting violent or he starts pushing you or whatever, don't be afraid to call it out and run towards safety. With Bradley and anyone at any time.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm not allowed to take my phone with me to school.
Well, it's okay. I'm not gonna be able to visit you during school hours because that's work hours for me. So
You come after?
I could come, but this week I am doing a special service. So how about, and I again through my mind, which days was Susan on her focus groups or stuff that I know she's gonna be either alone for a while or that Susan's gonna come back and immediately go to bed and she's not going
To be honest, I mean, how hectic her schedule is, even when she's there, she tends to check in on her and make sure that she's safe.
Yeah, of
make
course,
sure she's
100%. She's a wonderful aunt, but I take advantage of those windows in which she's tired or she's going out and coming back for a bit, and I just tell Lucy, it's like, how about we do it this however many days, like 3 days, 4 days, and I come back here.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And say goodbye to Foggy because we have to leave.
Bye, Foggy.
and she picks him up and just ruffles him
Okay.
and kind of hugs him tight. There's kind of the pitying look that Foggy gives you, feeling as though, okay, I like her, but she's squeezing too tight.
With all the puffed hair.
Yeah. She kind of gives him a shake on the head as he goes off, and then he goes and weaves between
Come
you.
here. I give her a hug. So now be safe, okay?
Okay.
And then I just go to bed because it's bedtime.
And she runs back over to the bed, goes underneath, flops down onto it, and just pulls the cover back up like ridiculously high.
Cool. Like, buenas noches, Lucy. And I turn off the light. And just like that, I just step out the ledge.
And as you kind of jump off, you just
Bye, Moses.
and then bye, Foggy. And you kind of run off towards the car. Back to you guys.
Right. We're gonna find out where these guys live.
Yeah, so I suppose we should. Oh, sorry. I should. So you've pulled on like a coat that's nondescript. Is that right?
Yeah. Pretty nondescript.
Yeah. So I'll probably be wearing much more kind of casual. Probably something back from my old student days or something.
Okay.
But something with
Student days.
something with a hood. I'll take a can of spray paint. A can of spray paint, even with me. And I'm going to take some latex gloves from my art set and tuck them away. That's. I suppose I'll take the bloody knife because
It's not bloody
Jim will
yet.
get upset. So and then I'll commit them.
Jim's got a small backpack on with looks like something maybe heavy inside.
Oh, can I add? I've got a slightly ridiculous scarf. Just thought I'd pop it in there.
There's a small backpack. There's potentially a few things inside. Something that looks larger and heavier.
I've got just a satchel.
Okay. Based upon the information that Moses has managed to compile, you get a rough idea of the residences of where these guys were about a year and a half ago when they were in the news. Whether or not they're still there. but you get a rough idea of where they are. The closest individual, Will Sparring, is believed to reside. God, I have too many notes. He lives in Bromley Road specifically, in Beckenham. Is the closest individual that lives, aside from aside from Darren himself, unless that's where you're going.
How far away from our domain is that?
Outside of the limits of the domain by walking, fair away, but it's the closest one that you could get to. Darren himself is again outside of your domain. All of them are.
Yeah.
You're not that fortunate, unfortunately. Not yet.
We'll go scope it out.
Okay, which one? Will's or Darren's?
Will's. We'll try and see if he's the same address.
Okay. Between the three of you, I mean, you don't draw much attention. It's not like you're turning around with Moses or anything really daft. Sorry. Fugly for life. As you begin making your way through the tube or buses or however you're choosing to make your way there, it's a good 20-30 minutes before you manage to get there. It's not that busy out on the roads, particularly not now, where most people have either returned home from work at this point or are settling in, or have already started making their way for an early night out. It depends on what their plans are, but at this point it doesn't take you too long to get to where he resides. And what looks to be a basic small house, not amazingly run down, but not something that would catch your eye if you were looking for a property. It's one of those ones that you'd probably go and eye up, see the for rent side, thinking, well, maybe the inside's better. Go in and immediately go, no. But you look around as a courtesy. It's one of those types of houses, and the curtains are drawn. There doesn't seem to be any movement.
Is there a car at the property?
There is no car. There is space for a car, but there is no car.
Right. Do you guys want to break in?
Well, shall we try and establish if anyone's in there first?
Is there a mailbox?
There is not. Not that you can see. There is a mailbox in the door.
Is there a way to... So we've got the address noted down. Is there any signs of like junk mail or anything else that could be left around? Any like refuse or rubbish bins?
No. Based upon the collection days, if there was any refuge, it probably would have been taken by now. The black bin itself is still perked next to the door, so it's either been collected and returned, or it just hasn't been collected yet.
So, I heard you had lockpicks.
But now, before we jump to the lockpick part of the plan, perhaps shall I just try and ascertain if anyone's in residence right now?
Yeah.
Would that be?
Yeah, sorry.
And then if you could maybe be ready in case there is, and they jump out and do something horribly violent. Thank you. But let's not do anything horribly violent ourselves. Good, right. So what I'm going to do is I'll start focusing my senses to listen out, obviously, and look for signs of movement in the house, and then I will also activate Silence of Death. Yeah, and I will.
Rouse checks at all in there.
No.
Excellent.
That's
Also,
why I'm going to keep using them every session, all the
also,
time.
It sounds hardcore.
It sounds hardcore,
Like
as
the
opposed
silence of death.
as opposed to Silence of the Terrified. You know.
We'll go with the former.
And yeah, I will just kind of work my way towards the house. Oh, I've just had a thought. Moses has talked a lot about cameras, so I'm assuming this neighbourhood doesn't have like security cameras, but I will check.
Okay, I'll need 2 checks from you.
Yeah.
I will need Dex plus Stealth,
Yes.
and I will need a Wits plus Awareness.
Which?
Because you were listening in to try and hear
Yeah. Okay.
sounds from inside. Is this with heightened senses?
Always.
Of course.
Right. So it's the stealth roll first.
Okay.
Do I get any bonuses for being silent? Gotta.
Consult the tome.
Roll check.
For any new players to the
I
game
don't-
watching, always try and get every extra dice you can.
Yeah.
Your storyteller loves you for it. I love it. They love giving you extra dice.
No, they don't, but we love having the extra dice so much.
That's all right. Well, it's useful to know this because it applies for SPCs as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm handing it out. What was that?
It was a thank you from me.
Would you?
Thank you. Okay.
I mean, I just make no sound whatsoever.
Oh, in that case, no, because this is to see whether or not anyone visually notices.
So okay. Does this come up?
I will say the difficulty will drop by 1.
I'm guessing that because I'm not actually breaking in is irrelevant as a.
Irrelevant at this
Cool.
point.
Okay,
because you're
here
not
we go.
actively trying to get in.
2 successes. However, I should note that my hunger dice have come up 1, so if I fail. Oh, hang on, or is it no successes at all? I can't. Well, it's a contest.
No, it's if you fail to achieve the roll.
Yeah.
Which would have been the case if I hadn't just dropped the difficulty.
Yeah. So if I'd failed, that would have been a bestial for sure. Double 1, people. And then there was a second roll, wasn't there?
Yeah, to listen in.
Which
Okay,
was...
so you guys watch as he lifts the. It's one of those annoying old gates where even though it has a latch, you kind of have to lift it to stop it scraping on the fucking pavement. And you lift it. You can tell I'm familiar. Lift it and open it, and you step through. Leave the door, the gate open slightly, just so that you can make through without making any noise, and you slowly approach. And it's odd as you watch him move. There is no sound. I mean, you listen, but there is no sound. And then he finally comes up towards the door. And the curtains are all drawn, so you can't look in, but then you stop and you listen.
So now I'm making wits and
awareness
plus heightened senses, yeah?
I will say, actually, given that you were out in the open, we'll say composure plus awareness. Because this requires you
composure, okay.
Composure plus awareness.
Let me
you are standing
Let
fully
me
out
put
in
some
the
dice away.
Yeah, you're
so
trying
composure
to keep
and
your cool.
awareness.
I mean, you are standing out in the open, approaching someone's door and listening at the door.
But I'm not going to literally stand.
You're also trying to heighten senses. You're trying to pick between the sounds you're hearing from the rest of the street.
Okay, so composure, awareness, heightened senses. Yeah.
Trying to look circumspect.
Here we go. Oh, messy critical.
Oh shit.
Messy critical, good height. Well, there is no good, but at least not bestial failure.
It's a messy critical, people. Our first ever.
Okay.
Both on hunger dice. Oh shit.
You lean in towards the door and you listen. And although you can hear the sounds of all the cars moving past, although you can hear the next door neighbour chatting, the one door over, they're fucking arguing, and you guess from the tone of the argument they're probably at it again rather than as a fresh occurrence. You can hear someone listen to a game show of one type or another, but you slowly tune them out and just listen inside. And you can hear a gentle drip, drip, as though from a tap. There is no other noises, and you listen and you lean in and you focus on it. And without realising it, you put your weight upon the door and just push. And then you hear that as the door breaks from the force of you pushing inwards and listening. And as you kind of lift away, you notice that you have entirely busted the latch. And the door itself is broken at the hinge.
Open season.
Not at the full hinge of the door, but where the latch went in. And it's the wood slightly... I mean, it's quite old wood, as it is anyway. This isn't the best kept house.
Yeah.
But you're stronger than you realise.
Goodness. Quite
The
exciting.
door, on the plus side, the door is now open.
But I couldn't hear anyone inside.
Not that you could hear. You certainly heard the right next to your ear.
Okay.
However, that has quite clearly been broken into.
Yeah, okay. I'll beckon the other two over.
Proud of himself. You guys didn't hear him approach, and you listened. You didn't quite pick up as many noises as Benjamin did, but you both heard the of the wood breaking, and you can see the splintering around where the lock goes into the actual door frame, and the door frame itself, which is buckled from the force of someone pushing with surprising force inwards.
Well, we're going to need to cover this up. Right, inside.
I'll go in.
I just
I might have,
inside.
I might have got a bit overexcited with the listening part and jumped straight to the door. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. It's so overwhelming when you're listening to everything and it's kind of coursing through you. And but the house is empty. I'm inside. I know. I'm fine.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. You are standing in the middle of this stunted hallway with and directly ahead of you and on the right is a stairway going up. Beyond the stairway and along the same corridor that you're on, there is a doorway splintering off towards the left, and directly in front of you can see what looks to be a stunted kitchen, or a kitchenette. It looks as though there is a bowl of some sort on the table. Whether or not it contains fruit or sweets or something, there is something in there. Maybe keys, although you can't quite see because the house itself appears to be largely in darkness. Where are you going?
I'm trying to see if there are any pictures, any signs of other people who might live in this house.
Jim's doing the same.
Okay. You glance around. There doesn't appear to be many pictures. What pictures there are is, and certainly catches your eye, it looks to be some sort of photographs of art pieces. Some of them you recognise as being some sort of requiring a bit of artistic knowledge in order, unless someone just saw them and went, "Oh, they're pretty," and just took a picture and put them up. Some of them are just stock images, but some of them are quite renowned art pieces, some of which you've studied yourself. And they lay in the walls. There's one or two pictures around of him, and in the company of one or more of the other individuals. In one particular picture, there is him with what, based upon the way they're embraced, someone that he's either going out with freshly, or at least at that stage where in the picture they're quite into each other and it's quite obvious. But beyond those pictures, you can't quite see any others.
That's enough for me.
Jim's going to be starting to find anything of small and valuable and put it in his bag. He's trying to rob this guy.
I guess I'm going to be moving to not stand like obviously in the doorway, but near the doorway to keep it in, just in case like this guy comes back, to get some kind of warning if anyone's
okay, so you're close to the doorway.
So
yeah.
I'm starting to feel that tension kind of coming to a head a little bit, but also kind of excitement. And I'm just looking around for anything metal, long, heavy, like coat rack. Coat rack. If there's a fake fireplace, if there's any shovels or pokers, anything. I just want to pick something up that I can tell is going to do some damage.
The average katana that.
This is a video game.
It just so happens. You begin moving up and down the corridor, taking bits and pieces as you watch from the doorway. The door itself can't shut anymore. You've done sufficient damage where it will not lock, but you manage to shut out most of the light from the streets, and push it to the degree where you think no one can tell from the outside that it's busted. And you watch as Jim moves up and down the corridor, slowly adding pieces. And the doorway to your left is a rudimentary kind of living room. There's some furniture in there, static on the TV, but there are numerous books. There's some on art, there's some on photography, there is some on what looks to be Asian language, or specifically Japanese language. Beside those, the bits and pieces that you can get, you can probably flog on eBay, maybe, assuming eBay's around at this point.
Car boot sale, that's what they used to call it.
Car boot sale, you could probably get a dozen quid or so. They're not expensive. This is not the kind of house where you'd expect to find anything expensive. But you move between the living rooms. Katia, you managed to find what looks basically to be one of those tacky kind of candle holders, almost like the ones that you'd get in I can't remember the name of the ceremony. Hanukkah. One of those holders. Yeah. That it doesn't have any candles set into the piece, but that seems to be metal. You're guessing it doesn't look. It is probably not as expensive as it looks at a first glance, but it's hefty enough. There's nothing else around. There's no golf clubs or anything similar. But you look between the kitchen. I mean, there are a few kitchen knives that are in racks, but they are basic kitchen knives. They're not something you'd wield around for impaling someone. But you could make use with worse.
Stick to the menorah. They're quite like.
There's as you kind of move around, you can see upstairs there are 2 rooms. You can see one veering off towards the left, you're guessing is potentially a bedroom. You can also see at the top of the stairs with the door slightly open, based upon, it's dark up there, but with your enhanced senses you can see what looks to be the curtain of a bath that's slightly pulled. Still can't hear anything. Aside from drips.
Is it coming from the bathroom?
Yeah.
Or is it coming from the kitchen? Okay.
Well, it seems to be. From the kitchen as well, you can also hear drips. And from Katia being in there is a tap that's not on, but it's one of those annoying taps where you need to kind of give it a sizable twist to stop that fucking drip.
Jim's going to go down all the downstairs rooms, then go upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stay by the door.
You're staying by the door. Where are you going?
I'm going into I'll go into the lounge to start with.
Okay. You see pretty much the same things that Jim did. There's some books you wouldn't have expected from an individual like this.
Is there a television?
There is a television. It's on with static.
Okay.
As though whatever program was on has ended and has just not been turned off. You can hear Jim's as he starts going somewhat quietly, Jim quietly, up the stairs. And you watch as he opens up the bathroom. There's a tap which is slightly on, to the degree where it's trickling. Out of reflex, you shut that fucker off because I would. There's nothing in the bath. There's a dirt ring around the edge of the bath. Clearly, it's not been cleaned recently, but there is no one in there. At the end of the corridor is what you're guessing to be a bedroom. Which is slightly ajar.
Yeah, quietly open that.
Okay. You open up the door. And what greets you is a completely unexpected sight.
And that's where we're in tonight, guys.
Not yet.
No.
Beyond the door, in what looks to be a stunted, a simple rectangular room with a double bed set in the middle. There seems to be side cabinets, a rudimentary wardrobe, and windows with the curtains pulled. And dotted throughout the edge of this room are worn candles, all of which appear to have been burnt out. They are rubbed down to their base stubs. But that doesn't draw your eye. The top of the bed is completely in disarray, with the covers and the pillows all at different angles, as though tossed about in some haphazard fashion. And upon the bed, you see Will, knelt forwards, his back to you, his arms open and wide, and tied and nailed to the walls. His back, which is bare, has been opened, cut down close to the spine, with his flesh pulled back and dangled over the parts of his ribs which have been opened out in an almost wing-like fashion. He is tilted forward, and based upon the spray of the blood and the fact that the wound itself is no longer dripping, he's been dead for a fair few hours. There is no other motion in the room. That is where we're going to leave for today.
Oh, shit. Oh my god.
Is this our old friends, the Simasay?
So,
Call Moses, he knows about that. Well,
that's what we're going to round off for
sense.
today. Did you guys want to do any shout-outs for the end?
I think we've already done.
You done
I
them
think
all?
we've done all that.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Remember, where are you watching from? Video, comment, chat, whatever you have it.
Carlos is very keen to find out where everybody's watching from.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you again, guys, for bearing
Thank
with us
you so
through all of the
Digital
issues.
voyeurism.
Like I said, we are investing in internet boosters and all the rest. As soon as we can nail this problems, rest assured we will. Thank you very much for being patient with us and for joining us again, particularly those individuals which are watching from areas with really odd hours to catch us.
We're looking at you, Australia.
That's
Thank you
amazing.
again if
Thank
you're
you
there.
so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And we'll see you next Monday.
Gracias.
Bye.
Bye.